We're back, guys. We're back. Welcome to the Collector's Table Live. It has been a minute. I've been moving, and these guys, we all been busy buying stuff, apparently. And I'm finally in the new place. So I appreciate everybody's patience. I know I've been off the net for a while. We got a good panel of guests. We got a good guest today. And then we also we'll just go through it. Shane, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. Good to be back. Good to see that you're getting all set up and established, and happy to see Dan joining us. That's awesome. He produces, or he's a good member of the community, so it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. Dan, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. I know you got a busy schedule, man, but you took some time for us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I typically have time during on a Sunday, football season and all. So I was up early watching the game, Kansas City and Miami.
Yeah, it's a close one right now.
Yeah. So, but thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. K-Fet, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, as long as you don't talk to my bank account. So it's taken a hit over the last few weeks while you were gone. So, I need you to be a little bit more my moral compass.
Mine's been taking a hit, trust me. With different things, it's been taking big hits. Even still, I've been buying statues. But
if I had either of your money, I'd burn mine.
Here we go.
Oh,
here we go. He's starting already.
It's the brick driveway. Here we go.
There is no bricks in my driveway this time.
But there were. We don't even have that in Canada. That's not even a thing yet.
Just so you know, Dad, so Shane's got this thing where he says if you got a brick driveway, you're you got money or something.
No. If you have the same matching bricks in your driveway that you have on your house, you got money. If your driveway matches your house.
I think if you have a driveway, period, you've got money.
There you go. Kevin's got 6 driveways.
Well, there you go. I guess we know who has the cash.
And a landing pad for his helicopter. So.
Wow. Nice.
Oh man. Anyway, let's put a little bit of background music here. We'll let the guys trickle in. What have you guys been up to? Anything new with you, Shane? I'm gonna show some of your stuff that you've been working on, and we'll kind of go through it. We'll let the guys kind of filter in. Let's see if we could share it. Guys, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I got a new MacBook Pro or whatever, and I suck at it. I don't know how to use it. I'm still learning how to use it. I think Dan said he's got a new one too, so he's learning how to use it.
That's a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Not a book, but
I got you.
Same thing.
Let's share this. And Shane, looking good, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got Darth Crate, and I just did some rearranging, put him next to the very beautiful Darth Talon, and just loving the Star Wars. Probably, it is my favorite section of my collection at the moment.
It's looking good.
So I got room for one more.
I like the lights and everything, and it looks real nice.
Oh, thanks, man. I got room for one more, and that's it. Then after that, it's a 1-for-1 exchange if I get another Star Wars character.
Okay.
So
I am getting some NYC ships, and they're going to be over to the right. That's where I have my pedestals and stuff like that. I got rid of my sofa. That was a step up for the theater room, but no one really sits back there. And I got a new sectional coming in December, so no one's going to sit back there anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I put my pedestals there and my bigger pieces, and
Very nice. Well, I'm liking the setup so far. Go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry.
No, I was just I love Shane's setup here. I just gotta call out what's going on with Ahsoka. It doesn't feel like she fits in with this whole group here down on the right.
So I know Ahsoka was a Jedi, but I mean, so was Vader, so was Darth Crate, so was a lot of Sith. So she was smart enough to realize that they're a bunch of douchebags, and then turned her back on them. And yeah, I respect that. I'm a big Ahsoka fan.
I think it looks good, man. We're going to say what's up to the chat real quick before we get too much further. Alan Kiefer, what's going on, man? Thanks, man. Thanks. It's good to be back. Jonas, what's going on? How you doing? Great Sunday morning to you fellas. Any big stuff coming this month for any of you all? Yeah, we're actually going to discuss that right now. Nice guy. Always nice seeing you. My man, K-Fet, up in the chat saying what's up to everybody. Mitch, my man, one of the regulars. Always nice seeing you, Mitch.
Yep, always.
We already said what's up to Jonas. Mr. Kennedy, another regular. Nice to see you, man.
Anthony.
Everybody just saying what's up to each other. We already said what's up to Alan Kiefer. Shane up in the chat. Northern Monkey 1, what's up? Who else we got up in here? Dinesh. What's going on, Dinesh? How you doing, man? Slifer, my boy, what's going on? McFly, always nice to see you guys. Who else we got up in here? I think we already said what's up to McFly. Hey, Jerry, what's going on, Jerry? We still got some people trickling in, so just wanted to say what's up to you guys. So, yeah, Shane, collection is looking sweet. I like the colors. You got mostly villains, right? You collect mostly just Sith.
Yeah, I feel like Sith are misunderstood. They're not necessarily the villains, but yeah, I don't have any Jedi. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Not a fan of Jedi. Like I was never a Luke fan. Never Obi. Like I like the character Obi-Wan, but yeah, not a Jedi fan at all.
Okay. And you got this this custom Darth Crate. Looks great.
I do.
Looks great.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Honestly, I love it. It's it's fantastic. The base has probably like 100 little stalagmites on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe that they didn't come broken, like not a single one. And all the I don't know what you call them, spikes, horns, whatever you want to call them, on his legs and boots, they all kind of magnetize in and fit perfectly. And yeah, it's a great piece. I love Darth Crate. He's one of my top 3 favorite Sith.
Yeah, it looks real good. Is this one of your projects, Dan, or is this?
No, mine's not done yet.
There's not done yet. Okay.
Like I said, if Dan's comes out, and I think it's not only if I think that if it's better, it's got to be a better fit. Because first of all, literally space wise, I got 3 per shelf, so I'm limited. And second of all, it's just got to be a better fit with the characters. But
well, it's a companion piece with the Darth Talon.
Right. So I'm not opposed to necessarily trading out.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Looks good. Looks good. I like it. I like the detailing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Like I love it. I absolutely love that piece.
Is there anything that you don't really care for about it, or do you love it completely?
The skin tone on it is a little, I don't know what the word. I was talking with Slifer about this, and he used the word cartoony. I could see that. It's just a little off. It's not exactly what like our skin. I mean, I'm pale as fuck, but it's not exactly like our skin tone. It's off a little bit. It's really hard to explain.
Okay.
But it doesn't look bad by any means. Like it's not to the point where I need to repaint on it and it's bugging me or anything. You can't even really notice. It's just if you're up close, you're like, the pigmentation's just not 100% true to like a human skin. It's more like 85-90%. It's just off. The hue's off just a touch.
Yeah. I like the armor. I like the way his armor looks. I think I like it.
Yeah, I love it.
I think I like it better with the helmet too.
Yeah, there is a swap out where I don't know if I sent the picture, but instead of the force lightning in his left hand, he's holding his helmet facing you, and then he has, well, you could take the helmet off of him.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But it's not like the Mythos Vader where he's like reflecting on it. This one, the mask is facing outward, so you see it, and he's just kind of like holding it up as if he just took it off.
Well, it was a nice pickup.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a great piece, but I'm holding out for Dan's.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm eager to see it. Like I said, I'm not opposed to considering a swap out.
Yeah, I
but
think that's
great. Being one of my favorite Sith, I had to jump on it in case I'm not able to find it.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we do as collectors all the time anyway. We collect something until we see something better anyway. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Collect what you love.
and with an ES of 40, I had to jump on it.
bro, look at this. Guys, like I said before, I'm going to try to zoom in on some of these pictures.
That picture came out really shitty on my phone. Like I used a 4K. That came out really grainy and shitty. Must be your MacBook.
Yeah, it probably is the MacBook.
Yeah, so this is the Cooper Star Destroyer Avenger.
Man,
I bought it off some guy on eBay. No, I'm just joking. Kevin, very graciously, I bought this. I had it shipped to Kevin. Actually, Kevin bought it. I gave him the money. He had it shipped. And then it came in all these resin panels. It's model. And you've got the lighting system. I think sanded it, painted it, put all the lights in, painstaking work,
Nice.
put it together,
Yep.
and then created this crate out of his Han Solo and Carbonite life size.
We'll just show it
put
right here.
Put about 1 million packing peanuts in there and everything, and sent it to me. And I've dreamt about having a Star Destroyer like this for like 30 years. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. Go figure. And it's my favorite ship in all of sci-fi. So this piece is a dream come true. I actually threw the box away. It's the only piece I own that I don't have the box, because if I ever get out of collecting, I'm still keeping that piece.
I'm honored that you'd say that, buddy. I'm glad.
Kevin, I just want to say thank you, man. I cannot thank you enough. And when we do finally get together, I'm going to get you so fucking drunk. You're going to make so many mistakes and regret, but it's all on me.
That actually sounds like a good time. Those are the times that are usually the best.
I'm going to be there too. So
yeah.
Cheers.
Well, look at the packing job. Go ahead, Kev. I'll let you walk us through it.
Oh, so yeah, as Shane mentioned, there was no way this thing's, I don't know, about 42 inches or whatnot long. There's no way you can just put this in a box and hand it to some UPS guy or DHL or something like that to deliver. So I was fortunate. I had that Han and Carbonite by Sideshow, the life size, and this was the smaller of the two boxes that came in. So I was able to kind of work with the foam a little bit, styrene and all that, and then a lot of packing peanuts and everything, got it all in there. Shane's been patient. This thing has been a long time coming. We were working on this project.
Like Kevin told me, he's like, Kevin works. He does other projects. He does all kinds of shit. He's got kids. They're going off to college. He's busy. And I told Kevin all the time, because he'd get back to me and go, hey, sorry, I know it's been a while. And what did I say, Kevin? Man, you take your time. Don't worry about it. There's no rush. I'm patient. I don't give a shit how long it takes. And I really don't. So I didn't care at all. It was well worth the wait.
This is a crazy packing job, man. Like
it's amazing.
I would have fucked this up so bad. At least he knew what he was doing.
Good job.
Yeah, it's a great job, man.
Yeah, thanks again, Kev.
Oh yeah, man, it's a fun one to do, but man, unless I can throw it in the back of my truck, I don't want to take it anywhere, or I don't want to ship it.
Yeah.
And I've had a bunch of people hit me up and ask me, hey, where'd you get it? Is Kevin going to do more? Is he going to do commissions? Is he? I'm like, man, you got to talk to Kevin.
Yeah, they're trying to put you to work, Kev.
Yeah, I'm not his agent. I don't know. I mean, for a price, I could point you in the right direction, I guess, but.
Not on the Star Destroyer, you can't. I'm not touching that thing for a while.
Nice.
All right, so next we got this Doomsday that you got.
Yeah, I got this a couple weeks ago. It's from MFA. It's 30. He's right here beside me. 32 inches tall. Just a pure behemoth. I absolutely love it. My favorite Doomsday on the market, even more than the 1/3 Prime one. Just it has been since I saw the concept art for it, and I love it. Like, there's nothing about this I don't like.
Very nice. This thing's pretty big too, right?
Yeah, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
I think there's a picture where I'm shaking his hand, and I don't have the biggest hands, but I got fair size hands, and his hands are big. Like, it's a beautiful piece. And the portraits are great. Like, everything. There's not one thing about it I don't like. The paint's great. The sculpt is great. The size is great.
Nice. You also got this, man. You've been busy.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so during the Prime 1 direct sale, they had 10 Justice Busters, the Ultimate Bonus Super Duper Edition with the 3 portraits and the Kryptonite Spear.
Yeah.
And they had it for half price. And I was like, all right, $1,500. I'm doing the conversion. But the shipping was just over $700. It was like $704 for boat shipping to Canada. That's US, right? You got to think. I'm in poor Canada, so our money's worth a lot less. So I was like, that's still $2,200 plus conversion, but there's no taxes because it's by boat. And then when I put it in my cart, I realized the shipping is half price too. They cut the shipping in half. So this all in cost me $1,852 shipped.
Time to say your Doomsday, Shane. Jay just showed their 2D art of the third scale Doomsday.
That looks fantastic. I already knew that was in the pipe. I already saw the concepts of that a while ago. He was sending it to me. I actually was giving him ideas about what version of Doomsday to go with and kind of what pose and stuff like that. I didn't design it by any means, but I was talking to him about it before he even started the concept of Doomsday. Then he sent me some pictures and asked me my thoughts and that and about height or size and shit like that. So I already knew what it was going to look like, and I have no doubt Jay's going to kill it. But I collect 1/4 scales, except for the bigger ones that go on my pedestals, and I'm happy with this because I don't have a free pedestal for Jay's Doomsday right now. But I'm sure it'll be great.
I like what JoJo's saying. You're right, JoJo. He does.
Yes.
Big congrats, Shane, on the Buster. But I would be pissed if I bought it day one.
So I wanted to say I'm obviously very happy and stoked because I know I'm not. I always rag on Batman. I just hate that there's so many Batman dick riders and so many statues, right? But Batman's a good character. I don't love Batman the way a lot of people love Batman, but I really do like Batman. I grew up with Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Spider-Man, those guys. But I have the new 52 Prime 1 Batman that I'm actually selling. So I wouldn't mind having a Batman, but I thought the Justice Buster was absolutely amazing when I saw it last year. And I was like, wow, if I could ever get that for a steal of a deal, I'll jump on it. But I didn't think I would. So I would be pissed if I know someone who paid $4,400 to get this last year, and now I got it for $1,852. So I see what Prime One's doing. They're trying to move some stock. Personally, I would have maybe put it for like 20% off and see what moved. But this is kind of short-sighted on their part because you're going to piss a lot of people off who bought this at 4K and might not buy from you again. So I think it was kind of short-sighted, but I'm happy they did it because I got it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, fuck you, Kevin.
Hey, this is the way I would rock him right here if I had him. I love the fact that it looks like he's in the suit right there, and I think it's just a portrait.
You're probably the only person I've ever heard say that.
Oh, I like it.
I've never even seen pictures of anyone displaying it who has it displayed like this.
Yeah. I like it. I
think it's cool. It's just the head of the Justice Buster and the Batman himself is so good with the armor that you're unless you display them completely separate from each other, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm going to have Batman on the outside holding the Kryptonite Spear on the same base.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a pedestal made. So
nice.
Yeah.
Moving on to Kev's pickups. Kev, you got this. I think this was the one that you just got, right?
Among the many. So yes, I've dived straight into the XM Transformer line, as some of you guys know. Had to move a lot of my collection and just got fortunate. A couple of cool pieces came up. Grimlock is one. He will be here this week. He'll be delivering. So can't wait to get him. This thing is a monster. Right after the show, I'm working on a special area to display them in the collection. So once that's up, I'll show you guys probably next week. But moved a lot of my Transformer stuff into the Star Wars media room, and they're getting their own lighting. And I'll say, Crippler and a few others have inspired me. So definitely working on presenting them properly.
He's a beast, man. He's such a great piece. Big congrats. He's still the most expensive piece I've ever bought.
Oh yeah, he's ridiculous.
And I got him for a good deal. And he's still the most expensive piece I own.
Yeah, I heard he's massive in real life. Like
he's gigantic. Like he's absolutely gigantic.
How tall is he? Have an idea? Like 30 inches or more?
Yeah, he's actually I'd probably say about 32-ish.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere around there. He's big.
Yeah. And then Kev also has this Yoda, which looks amazing, by the way. Is it amazing in person?
Oh, this thing is, forget any licensed product out on the market. This thing is hands down the best Yoda to date. Guy got his first name, Philip. He's out on the hyperdrive and stuff like that. Works on this stuff. I think his side gig is he actually works in the studios and stuff of that nature. So very familiar with like latex and things of that nature, because this isn't a resin sculpture. This is latex and cloth.
Oh, really? I thought it was a hard sculpt.
No, this thing is probably one of the lightest boxes. I mean, after this one came in and I've got Grimlock coming in next week, I'm screwed.
I'm going to tell you now, Kevin, when you put Grimlock together, it's not the easiest, man, with the way they do the fucking leg and the body and putting in the other leg, and it's so heavy. I was sweating. It was something. At least mine was anyway.
Hey, by the way, quick pause. Wasn't Critical supposed to be joining us today? Is he jumping on? Oh, next week. I'm sorry. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we sent him a link if he was jumping on. Well, you're invited if you do, Critical, if you're watching.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, it looks great, Kev. It looks just like out of the film.
Yeah, it definitely Empire Strikes Back, Yoda. Spot on. I've got a special place up in the media room that this one will be going in, so I'll have final photos here to share next week. But I was really, really excited. This thing is about a year in the making. But Phil did a phenomenal job. Yeah, I know he only does like a few of them each year, but I was glad to get on the run here.
Yeah.
And it looks good. I've seen a couple people post pictures and give like a quick review, and everybody loves it. Everyone's saying it's the best Yoda they've seen.
Yeah.
And I agree. It looks fantastic. It like you said, Kev, it looks like Yoda's in your house.
Yeah.
Hey, Donald, thanks for joining, man. What's going on?
What's up, Donald?
Yeah, look at him just sitting up on your fucking counter. It looks like Yoda just. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, every time I do that, at some point or another, my wife walks by and goes, "That's not staying there, is it?" So
it just really looks like him sitting up on your counter like that. Standing on your counter. Yeah.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's at least a little over probably 2 feet or so. So he's a wonder. So
I never knew how tall Yoda was in the movies. I always figured he was about 3 feet, 2.5 feet. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But Mark Hamill's not a very tall guy either, right? So.
Yeah, correct.
How tall is he? Was he like 5'8", 5'9"?
He's something like that, I think.
Yeah. If only we had this thing called the internet to look it up.
What?
Oh, when you're done with Kevin's, I got that other new one there, Adam. You wanted me to remind you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's 5'7".
5'7".
So there you go. Yeah, and like I said, I just got on a roll, guys. So Nemesis Prime came in. Good old Todd Father and I have been talking. He's been able to connect with me with a lot of pieces. So thanks again, Shane, for directing me toward Todd there.
Yeah, man. This piece is my favorite XM Transformer statue. Yeah, I went back and forth. I looked at Grimlock and Prime and Nemesis, and it's still Nemesis Prime. Like aesthetically, he's my favorite.
Yeah. No, it's a phenomenal piece. It's it takes a pretty large footprint there. It's a big piece, but I love it. It's part of the collection now. I got Starscream on his way, and I'm also working with Todd on Optimus. Nice. So now to date, I've got everyone but Megatron really, and that'll be wrapped up here shortly.
Very nice.
Yeah, I want to get a Megatron too. I can't get over the face sculpt of the XM.
It's a struggle for me too, Shane.
That's why I didn't get the XM Starscream. I can't get over the lined face. Like it's overly done. Yeah. The statue itself is fantastic, but the face is the reason I couldn't get over it. And That's why I'm looking for Imaginarium Arts Megatron, but it's becoming my white whale. I've never even seen one for sale before since it sold out.
It's that good of a piece. People just don't want to give it up.
And there's 500 of them. I mean, you'd figure you see every piece for sale at some point. It's been out for a few years, 2 years, 3 years. I've never seen one for sale yet.
Tony, Stay Frosty, what's up, man? Your Vision, thanks for joining. Nice to see you guys again, man. I know it's been a minute.
What's up, Vision?
Adam, it looks like you got a lot of work to do. Yes, absolutely. Yep. So after this live, I'm actually gonna be I just gotta edit the video, but I'm gonna be dropping the video of the man cave. I'll show you guys the full man cave. It's not just what's behind me. There's a lot more. So I'll show you guys.
It's huge.
It's about the same size as my other room, just laid out a little different.
Which was also huge.
It was. So Kev, you got this Nemesis, or no, excuse me, this Optimus.
So yeah, that's, again, I'm working with Todd on that. One of the big things, and I've mentioned it before on the channel here, is I've been fortunate. I got a couple friends with a CNC routers. So I'm just able to go up to the hardware store, grab some MDF board, design up what I want, and they're going to just cut it right out of the wood. So I've got this whole Cybertron setup for the display of it. So we're going to cut it all out. I'm going to underlight it and backlight it, and we're going to have them all on display. So give me a couple of weeks for that. We're working through the concepts right now, but it's wonderful. Yeah, if you've got like a CAD program or an Illustrator or something like that, you can just jump in and just start doing whatever you want, and these guys can just cut it out for you.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that, man. Can't wait.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna look good.
What I love is, and whether it's a line I collect, like I'm obviously a big Transformers fan, whether it's even anime, something I don't collect, but I love not only seeing the pieces, because some of them are just stunning. I love seeing what people do with their displays and all the extra mile they put in, you know what I mean? And how beautiful the setup looks. Like, I truly appreciate that. So I can't wait to see it.
I think as collectors, we're kind of getting to this point where we're seeing, you know, I know we got Dan on the call too, and he rolls into this, but you know, all the vendors and stuff, they're putting a real passion and love into these pieces. And they're really, if you go back to like the early days of Sideshow or whatnot, you can just see such a difference. It's ramped up, and you know, now you have a museum quality type piece. You don't want to just have it on the shelf collecting dust. You want to display it so everyone can appreciate it.
And what's good is, whether it's in the custom world or in the license world, pieces, not all of them, obviously, you're still going to get some mediocre shithole pieces, but for the most part, pieces, like you said, they're really stepping up.
Yep.
And competition really drives a better product, right? Because everyone, if these guys are doing it better and you're going to stay here, well, who's going to buy your shit unless you're, you know, a fraction of the price? So it's constantly trying to stay at each other's level or outdo each other. Yeah. And we're the winners, except for when it comes to the price tag. And shipping.
Dan, let me ask you this: do you like Transformers at all, or you collect? Like, what do you collect? Do you have?
I'd say probably 90% of my collection is Star Wars.
Star Wars, huh?
I do like the Transformers. I was in my mid-teenage years when that came out. I mean, I liked it. I've always loved animation, you know, always liked them. You know, I had some of the toys back in the 80s. But, you know, I don't have room for these pieces.
They're monsters.
I've entertained the idea of getting maybe a Megatron, but I haven't really liked kind of what has been offered so far.
Yeah. Have you seen Imaginarium Arts Megatron?
Yeah, I've seen that one. There's one that got pretty close to what it looked like in the show with a little more realistic details.
Prime one?
Maybe. I can't remember who it was, but
is it the one where he's kind of like standing and his arms bent and the gun's kind of facing up and out a little bit?
Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I can't remember which one it is, but whatever the ones that are closer to what they actually look like in the cartoon.
Well, PCS does the cell shaded, which it looks like it's really
not necessarily the cell shaded ones, not like straight up right out of the TV show, but I mean, something like, I don't know who did this one. I mean, this one looks pretty good.
That's XM.
XM, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I haven't really, I don't know, too many. I don't know. Just it seems like it's a lot of I don't know, mechanical details added to a whole.
Like a little over modernized.
A little too much.
That was my issue with XM. I held off for the longest time, and then I have a few pieces, and I got a couple more on pre-order, but some of their pieces are just overly modernized for my personal liking. So I didn't get those pieces. I went a different route, but they're still beautiful.
There's that. There's an action figure company. I think is it 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
Yeah, they've got the die cast metal.
Yeah,
like, those ones there are like if those were statues, I'd probably have to get.
That's basically Transformer Hot Toys, pretty much.
I was into the Beast Wars mainly. That was like my era where I was watching Transformers a lot more instead of the Gen 1 stuff. But I love
to jump on the XM Beast Wars coming out.
I don't know, man. I want to see them. I know you had me thinking a little bit the way about the facing of how they do it. So
it's such a miss if they don't do it that way. Like such a miss. But
I think it'll still look cool. I mean, I think it'll display right, but we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna keep it moving. K-Fet, you got this. This is Starscream, right?
Yep, he's also coming in this week. So another hookup from Todd. Yeah, you basically just send Todd a list, and you're like, I'm looking for these, and probably within a few days, he's already getting back to you going, yeah, I can get this one. I can get this for you, man.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that, Slifer. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Then,
I'll wait. Like I said, in a couple of weeks here, I'm going to have the whole thing out, displayed, and yeah, we're going to be really rolling, so you guys can see what I did with it.
Yeah.
Just want to check with you, Kev. You have not actually unboxed any of your Transformers, right?
I have a few of them, yes.
Like have you set up your Imaginarium Arts Starscream?
I've unboxed them, and then that one went back in the box because I don't have the spot right now. But yes.
Check for damages.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, Kev, you were also working on this. This looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
This was before, right? This is what it was before.
No, actually,
or is that what is?
That was what it was before. So it had, and I was just like, there's too much going on. I was having troubles.
I like both.
Really explain. So yeah, I was like, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to kind of brine it up really so you can see.
I like that better.
I like this better.
Yeah.
They're both nice,
like
but
this better.
You can see the detail on everything.
Exactly.
Like especially when you have black pieces, you don't want to have too much dark light.
Yeah, and let's talk about this real quick up top since I got Dan here. So notice, Talon's right there. That's Dan's Emperor. What I'm missing is that Darth Maul. I've got this crappy Sideshow one just sitting there going, please replace me, Dan. Please replace me.
What? That Sideshow one's great. I love it.
I feel like there's a better one coming, and I'm just waiting for it.
I'm surprised you don't actually own XM Darth Maul.
I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I know a lot of people rave about him. I just
love that piece, man.
I would buy that painting in a heartbeat.
Probably the piece of my Star Wars collection people stop at the most to look at.
That painting and that General Grievous.
I love that painting.
That General Grievous I like a lot too.
Thank you.
Those are two characters that I really liked a lot.
Yeah, it's even the Slave one. I know a lot of people with the NYCs are looking for that one. I did myself, so that's fun. But and then I have like my ode to Mandalorian down low. You can kind of see the helmets down there, so it's a nice little setup I got going on behind me.
That's great, man.
That's no Commander helmet though. That's cream of the crop right there.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as my pickups, we already know Ripley was coming. I've already been talking about that. So to go with this, I got this. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm sorry. I don't know how to use this damn MacBook. Hang on. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, I got the Prime 1 Scorpion Alien. This thing is it is like really tall. I think it's the pole that the alien is holding on to or whatever, the pipe. It's like 38 inches. It's probably too tall, really, the way they did it. But I think this will look really good with Ripley. So I can't wait to display those two together.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. It's kind of an OG piece, but I don't care. I like it.
That's great. Some of the OG pieces still hold up.
Yeah. Let me see if I could go back. You wanted to show something else real quick.
I just sent the money while we were doing the show here. The guy finished sending me pictures. It was brand new. He took it out of the box, sent pictures. So I just bought this.
Yeah, there you go. That's the...
Yeah, that's not his picture, but it's the only one I could find. I got the Tweeter Head Hordak. It's the AP exclusive, so it comes with both portraits, and it comes with the Canon arm as a swap out.
Wise decision. I support that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to go with the what is it, the Con edition or whatever they call, where it's like really vibrant blue. Because honestly, I like that one more. But I have Skeletor, Beastman, Trapjaw, and Merman from Tweeterhead. So this being a little more muted on the colors, but still, like you said, that throwback with the white skull was just the best of both worlds for me. It'll fit in quite nicely, I think.
Congrats, Mitch. I can't wait for mine. Yeah, mine got delayed a little bit with the move, but now it should be moving towards me. So.
Well, and Shane, as you know, I love the He-Man line, but I'm going to have to live vicariously through you since I sold mine just to make room for those blasted Transformers.
We all have to make sacrifices, man. I get it.
It was tough. It was tough, but man, this is a great piece. Nice pickup.
Thanks. And I got it for a good price. I got it for $900 Canadian shipped. And it's from a guy I know him. I bought from him before. He's a really good guy, so.
Very cool, man.
Oh, here's the whole picture of that alien piece I was telling you guys about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm holding that pole and everything.
Yeah, it's such a cool piece.
Yeah, I think it'll, and that's an actual, you know how they always do non-scale? This is an actual quarter scale. So
Adam, with all that real estate behind you, do you have it all designated what pieces are going where, or are you going to have some extra room?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes and no. I'm still kind of figuring it out. I spaced some. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. You can see I'm still putting the racks together, so you can still see holes like right there and stuff like that. I'm still covering the holes. I know it looks pretty simple, but it takes forever to do these damn racks, like forever. Lighting, and you got to like hide the wires and stuff. But the ones way back there are spaced out a little bit more than the ones over here. So my taller pieces are going to go back there. I'm still kind of figuring it out. That when I'm going to drop the video and I'll explain it all, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to put like the ships, the Star Wars ships. I don't know. I'm thinking about putting them like up here.
Yeah.
Because I got space up here.
All right, Flankster.
I'm going to do this. Move that over here.
It's going to be that big, and then I'll put it along here. And then I'll scam you out of your money right here.
Oh, man.
Hey, you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, whatnot, you start buying all these shelves, you're just getting nothing but mad respect from guys who constantly are building stuff with their hands, and just don't tell them what it's for.
One thing I will say, though, Adam, that I really respect about your display, on top of it looking fantastic, I really respect wire management.
Oh, my God.
Most people are pretty good with it, but some people, beautiful collection, beautiful.
I don't know how to stop this slideshow.
And then they have all these wires just dangling everywhere, and it's like,
hang on. Let me try to stop
that extra effort.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Shane. You see all those wires like hanging down from something someone's got on the wall.
The extra half an hour, and like, why would you make it look shitty? I mean, if a little wire shows here and there because you have no choice, But Jesus, man.
All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to pull this back up. Trying to figure out this.
Go Mac.
This damn MacBook shit. You guys talk amongst yourselves real quick. I'm going to pull this back up.
So I have right here on my right, I have 4 draw shelves. The top is spoken for. That's how I'm going to be moving my Transformers there and my X-Men there. And I have my villains on throne. I got my Maestro. It's the old Hollyma Maestro. I love it. I don't have room for XM, nor am I spending that much money. I got the Joker on Throne, and I'm getting a custom Galactus. And then I got 2 shelves of bad guys, Marvel and DC. And then I have 1 spare bottom shelf. So I kind of narrowed it down to one of 3 things that I'm going to do. I'm either going to do Prime 1 Studios 1/4 scale Lord of the Rings on that shelf, or I'm just going to continue doing villains, Marvel and DC, or maybe like an 80s, 90s shelf with and 1/4 scale of a Terminator, a Predator, an Alien. I'm tossing those ideas around. Those are what I've narrowed it down to. Predator. I've been trying to think of another IP that I love enough to actually put on its own shelf, and I can't really think of one. So those are my three options. Nice. I think those are good options.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got some news from was this from LBS? Is that what we were saying?
Yeah, Jay confirmed that this got approved.
Yeah. Doomsday, another one. How do you guys like that pose? What do you think, Dan?
I see why he did it, right? Because otherwise, I know he's holding shit above his head, but if he made him stand upright, I think Doomsday is shit. I want to say he's like 9 or 10 feet tall, something like that. So if you did a third, like that thing would be a monster on top of a base.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not my first choice for a pose for Doomsday, but I think it's something different, and I think it's going to look absolutely great. So,
what do you guys think, Dan and Kev? You guys into Doomsday at all?
Not really. I mean, he's cool and all. I mean, he character that came later on, from me as a kid, but I don't know. I mean, he's a cool character.
He's the Hulk. He's DC Hulk.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. As far as the pose, I mean, it's a nice action pose, but at 1/3 scale, I mean that is going to be enormous.
He's holding an engine or something. It looks like he's holding.
Yeah. They might. I mean, I don't know. It's been approved, but that doesn't mean. I mean, when you're developing a piece and you draw up things on paper, it looks cool on paper, but then when you start sculpting it, sometimes it doesn't always work.
Yeah, I can see that
3D form. Not saying that it can't. I mean, if that's exactly what they want to do, but there's just a lot of things you have to take into consideration when you start sculpting it. But it's a very ambitious piece to be, with that. For me, I mean, if I did something like him, I'd probably go with more of a neutral type museum pose.
Yeah,
or the footprint and things like that. But
kind of what they did with the Hulk in a way.
Kinda, yeah. Well, maybe not so stiff, but
you're not a fan of the LBS Hulk, Dan?
Body language. Yeah, it was nicely done. I don't know. I'm really big on body language. Some pieces. I mean, it's a tough nut to crack sometimes. How the body reads.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. But I mean, if this is what they're going for, I mean, I'm definitely would love to see it, come to fruition.
I can tell you the cool thing, the for sure thing, it looks cool on paper. So I think you make a very valid point when you're sculpting these things and you're actually trying to figure out the engineering of how you're going to make it work. It does get complicated. Yeah.
Whenever you're sculpting something, you have to sculpt it for production.
Yeah, sure.
You have to take all that into consideration when you're doing all that. So it's not that this couldn't be done. I mean, it could be done easily. It's just, shipping, but I mean, if people want to pay the insane shipping rates for something that huge and 1/3 scale, then I mean, it seems that they've been doing okay with it. So
yeah, people been doing it lately.
Yeah,
doing it. So
I mean, it is what it is.
Whenever we say on the show where like, oh man, I don't know if too many people are going to buy this. The price point's a little too high. We don't know about this. We don't know about, and it fucking sells out, or like everybody buys it and then they don't even give a shit about the shipping, but we still complain about it, but we still buy it. So,
well, I mean, what can you do? I mean,
you can not buy it.
Everything's expensive right now. It's not just collectibles, everything, food.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
Can't buy. You go buy dinner for your family for 2 days. You're spending $150.
Yeah, for real.
So.
Can you zoom in on that?
Good
with
luck.
your $12,000 laptop. Can you zoom in on that?
I can't like pinpoint a zoom. Anybody in Apple that has an Apple,
want to see what. Okay, so there's a car. So he's destroying a car. I wasn't sure if he was like destroying the ship he was on.
Yeah, it's like a car and he's ripping out the engine.
Oh, what does that say? What's that sign say on the bottom, our bottom right?
If you could just zoom into the car sign.
I think that's supposed to say Metropolis, maybe?
Metropolis? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can see
it's a lot
that.
easier for me to zoom in on my phone.
Yeah, sorry, I got to figure that out for you guys, but anyway.
Yeah, it says Rapopolis. So yeah, I'm going to guess what is Metropolis.
What is Metropolis?
You don't know what Metropolis is?
All right, so we got the Venom 2. I guess this is a update. He's got it painted. This looks great. You guys like this? I like it. I like the teeth.
It might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like this is one of the best representations of Venom, just looking at the face and stuff like that. I go back to the classic introduction of him with McFarlane's artwork and all that, and I go, this is a nice piece. I'm not one who likes that overextended jawline and everything and all the symbiote going everywhere. I'm like, this feels like a Venom to me. If I had to get a Venom, this is the one I'm getting.
Let me ask you, do you want, and I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but if you have a Venom who's known to be like this wild animal type character and just a bunch of chaos and everything, do you want him in a stand-up museum pose like that, or do you want him in a dynamic, semi-dynamic pose? Or are you good with him just literally just standing there like an Iron Man pose or a Captain America pose?
Yeah, I mean, I know where Venom, the character, kind of evolved into. To your point, Shane, he became almost.
Oh, you got no mic, Kev.
Let's try it again.
Adam muted you.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame him.
Saying shit that I didn't agree with, so I just muted him.
The dictator.
But no, what I was trying to say here is I'm looking at it, I know where the Venom character evolved into, and him having almost like this horror type aspect to him. Mm-hmm. But I still lean back to the symbiote, merging with Eddie Brock, and it was just this pure hatred towards Spider-Man. So I still saw it more as this guy plus symbiote who was after Spider-Man, who wanted a little bit of payback. And I feel like something like this actually really does capture that. So yeah, I'd probably go this route, believe it or not, Shane, instead of
I actually agree with you, because there's so many Venoms out there killing Spider-Man and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I actually agree with you. When I see this, exactly what I thought is this is near the emergence of him merging with the symbiote, Eddie Brock. And yeah, so I'm good with this for sure. My favorite Venom right now is still the OG XM. That's still my favorite Venom to date.
Bell? Is like a bell? He's got the bell on the base or something? I think I know which one you're talking about.
No, he's got like broken clock.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't display with all the tendrils on the side, but that's still to date my favorite Venom. But yeah, I'm good with this for sure.
I got that Venom Arise coming whenever that's going to be released. But
you still have that, eh? You were debating canceling.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it so far. I don't know. We'll
aren't you selling your Carnage?
No, I'm not selling Carnage. Okay. No, I love that Carnage.
I thought you were going to sell Carnage if you canceled Venom, and then I thought you sold Carnage.
No, I don't know. I'm holding on to Carnage as far as I know right now.
It's a great piece.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's one of the best Carnages out there. The little simple sideshow Carnage wasn't that expensive.
The only part of that statue I don't love is what Daniel Bill did with the mouth. He didn't give him like enough kind of teeth, spikes, whatever you call them, and it kind of looks like a bird's beak more than like a mouth like Carnage has in the comics. That's my only gripe with that piece. Still doesn't look bad, but that's my one thing I'd change.
Alan is making a point there. I didn't even notice that. Is that a seam underneath his back?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that. Right there in his chest, where like the chest meets the abdomen, right there.
I would hope not. I would hope Jay would not do that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Just a prototype.
It might not be like that in a production. But one of you guys made a really good point. I think it was Kev earlier. You were saying something about it's got that McFarlane look. I love that. I love that. I think that makes, when you said that and you put that into my head, I was like, yeah, it does actually. I love it.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, as someone who actually works on pieces like this, any tricks to the trade, or what do you guys do to get around seam lines? Does that just kill you as a vendor?
What do you mean? So there's seam lines from the mold, or seam lines for,
on the statues where certain pieces connect. If all of a sudden you're seeing just a little bit more of that gap, it just doesn't go in as seamlessly as possible. Is that something you guys try to address?
Always.
Design part.
Yeah, always. Whenever you're doing a seam line, you always want it. You always want to put a seam line somewhere. If you're talking about swap out parts, you always want to put a seam line in an area where you can have it well hidden. Let's say if they have clothing, you want to put it on a seam line, like on a sleeve, or on a belt if you're doing two different torsos. The head down in the collar. There is, if you do swap out heads on, say, something like this, or even a Hulk. I produced a Hulk a few years ago that came with 4 heads, and we did a seam line, but we put the seam line up by the ear and then came down around underneath the jaw. But each head had to be sanded down, in custom fit to the body that it was going to keep the seam line at a very minimal. Whenever you're doing swap outs, you can't hide a seam line if you're doing swap outs. But let's say if you're doing something like this and you're keeping the head solid, whenever they put it together, it's like model making. You got to fill the seams and then replicate the textures and the details that are there. Like say a Godzilla, that's a lot of that's always going on those. But yeah, you always take into consideration where you want to put the seam. You always want to put it in a place. You got to do it strategically to try to.
It's got to be tedious, man, to do stuff like that. Like a lot of this, like creating stuff like this has got to be super tedious for you. Would you agree? Or
it is. Absolutely, it's tedious for anybody. It's more tedious for the artists who are sculpting it. They're the ones trying to, create the vision, and then, art directing them and keeping them on the path of how things need to go and what needs to be added and where it needs to be done. But, again, it's whenever you're sculpting something for, a physical 3D collectible, you have to take production into consideration. You can't just, sculpt it all up and say, here you go. Because then there's always things that need to, you have to go in and make sure, okay, can this, can't have any passageways or major undercuts. And if you do, then you got to do some backfilling, and you got to make sure, but you do it in a manner that, it's not obvious. It's kind of like the illusion of making it look like there's a passageway, but there really isn't.
Yeah.
And right down to the smallest fine detail, like say belt loops on a belt or something like that. Like you got to backfill all that in. So
yeah. Well, as far as this piece, I think it looks really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole thing. Kev, what are some of the guys saying in the chat? Are they liking this or what?
Oh yeah, this definitely immediately everyone's kind of asking. Let's see, what we got here. Vision's picking it up. A few guys are just kind of checking in, looking in where this is from. So, and then of course we got on the whole seam line. So you got a few chiming in, like Vision again. Swap outs are a must. I agree. I love having a couple different options. As I've stated before, with my options, I like to be able to display those too that I can't show off. So always love being able to do that. So
No, yeah, he's probably going to do a bunch of swap outs. He usually does a bunch of swap outs. And I think if there was a seam line on this head, it's probably right underneath the jawline. Maybe you think so, Dan?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You think if there's a swap out on this portrait, the seam line would probably be right underneath that jawline and try to hide it?
That would be where, I mean, it's either going to be there or it's going to be down around the collar here.
Okay.
I mean, wherever they can hide it where it's not in plain view. I don't know what the details are on the back.
Yeah.
If typically, like, say when you're sculpting, you can sculpt and add details where, okay, this is where the seam line can run along and follow along these creases and, hills and valleys of the skin details that are there.
You can hide them. I know in like Sideshows Carnage, they got like the different symbiote kind of going across the Carnage, and they hid those seam lines pretty well. When you're actually there's no like real swap outs, but when you're putting the piece together is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, that comes down to, the production line and making sure, when you're, I mean, just like when you're, like I mentioned about the Godzilla kits, when you're, or model making, when you're putting the model together, and if it just has just those pieces, there's no swap outs. And you fill the seams and then you replicate, you try to replicate the texture of where that seam is the best you can, to hide it. So I'm sure that's probably, what they're doing. Sometimes you don't have to, though. Like this here, let's just say there's no swap out head for this, depending on what the, the body is. I mean, you can mold and cast a body if it's just standing there in an A pose.
Yeah.
You can mold and cast it all in one piece. I mean, seen that done many a times in the garage kit. So you don't even have to have any seams. The only thing you have to deal with are the mold lines. But if you do them, if you're doing jacket molds and with glove molds and then the jacket mold on the outside, then you can keep those seam lines to a minimum.
Very nice.
Where there's very little prep needed to get rid of the seam lines from the molds.
Well, I know Jay's been hard at work working on all this stuff, and it's pretty smart that he told us, I think, the community about it way ahead of time, even with these sketches and stuff like that, because it makes people save their money for stuff that he's working on. So I think any company that shows like these really early sketches and stuff is obviously going to be subject to change. It gives collectors a really good idea of like, okay, I'm going to actually save my money for this shit. It's coming out soon. So I like that. As far as like the base and everything, as far as this statue, I know there was a couple things that people were saying about like the knoll. They didn't like the knoll face on the base or something like that. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how it develops. Kev, were you going to add something?
I was just going to say, I appreciate that Jay is still just tackling that 1/3 realm, unlike some other companies. Segue maybe.
Yeah. Actually, Prime 1 was talking about going towards.
They're going to be tapering off their 1/3 scale DC line or Batman and focusing more on 1/4 scale Batman.
Yeah,
that came from Secrets. Our buddy at Secret Sanctuary. He was saying that I believe Chris, the Batman statue collector, was talking to someone at Prime 1.
Yeah,
and that's what they let him know, is that they're going to be off the 1/3 and focusing on 1/4 scale Batman. So that's good for 1/4 scale Batman collectors, but shitty for everyone else who already bought all the 1/3.
Yeah, especially since they rolled out with nothing but 1/3.
Right.
That's a good way to stick it to those who have been loyal from the beginning.
I know, right?
What's the matter? They made a different scale later on.
No, they're going to stop focusing so much on the 1/3 scale Batman statues, and because they haven't done all the villains, obviously, and now they're going to focus more on 1/4 scale Batman.
Prime 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
I just wanted to answer this question quick for Joan. I have several. Feel free to hit me up on Facebook, Shane von Lichtenstein. And if you're looking for any pieces, I have probably 5, 6 different custom companies that I have statues from. So 7, maybe 8. Just hit me up. The more I'm looking, the more I'm counting. So hit me up if you want to know.
Hey, thanks, Ledge. Nice to see you again, man. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
What's up, Ledge?
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to move on to this amazing piece.
Oh, the piece of the hour.
Let me tell you something. Before, let me just preempt all this. Like, forget Dan is here for a second. I've always loved Spawn. Like, I loved Spawn as a kid. I used to go to Toys R Us, and I used to buy in the package, like the Spawn figures, didn't even take them out of the package, put them up on my wall. All the kids had like different kinds of characters, like, like Superman, Batman. I had these dark, really effed up looking characters from like this grungy universe, and I loved it. I loved Spawn. And I've seen so many projects out there with different Spawn pieces, but I'm like, I don't really like that pose, or man, that's not really true to Spawn. Or
the Keith you were a big critic of for on a lot of pieces. You're like, I send you lots of pics, and you have 2 are like, no, they fucked up.
Actually, that's a very good point, because Shane would always send me these pictures, and he would probably think, man, he's got to probably like this. He'll probably buy it. I'm just looking out for him. I'm going to send him the picture. And what do I, like Shane said, I'm like, man, it's just not, something is missing. It just doesn't do it for me, right? Then this shit came out, or this was previewed, all right? One of Dan's projects. And me and Dan don't really know each other. I've never really worked with Dan or anything like that. And we just wanted to invite him to the show because I thought this thing was so good. But I'm going to digress for a second. Dan, I want you to tell us a little bit about this project that you're working on.
Well, like you, in I'd say in my 20s, my late 20s, early to mid late 20s, I too was a big collector of the Spawn figures. I had every series from series 1 to series 30, 39 or something like that. All in the package. I displayed them on my wall up in my band room. So I was always a huge fan of the action figures. And honestly, the action figures and the details that those had, that really inspired and changed the game for the high-end collectibles. When it comes to the quality and the details that have been done over the years and keeps improving to the date. So, the action figures from Todd in the early 90s, that was, that really drove the quality of high-end collectible statues as far as, the details are concerned. So with that being said, over the years, I've, seen other producers making a Spawn. And none really tickled my fancy, and for me didn't quite, I don't know, didn't quite, match what I was looking for.
And it hit the mark, yeah.
I wanted to do one that, represented his height in the comics, 7 foot. And he is a corpse. It's more of a conceptual, realistic take on when we first see him in issue 32, when he receives the black suit with the white stripes. When he changes over from the black and red to the all black. I remember that
one. Yeah.
Yep.
So I kind of, went with that. If you look at the gauntlets and the spikes on his legs, and the boot armor there, that all represents that comic, and of course then the cape.
I'll tell you this: the cape is the thing that a lot of guys that work on these projects just miss, in my opinion. Okay. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of Spawn projects, and like I said, I just didn't hit the mark for me. Recently, I did see a medieval Spawn that I really liked. Totally supporting that project, because I was like, finally, somebody did a medieval Spawn. Really well.
Which one was that one?
That one.
Rejects.
What's that?
Rejects.
I can't remember yes. No.
Dead. Is he stepping on a dead guy?
Yes. That's
I helped with that one.
Oh, there you go.
That thing is phenomenal. that's a project that I'm actually backing. So that is, that one is going to be one that is going to be backed by me. And then there's going to be there's another one, a gunslinger spawn, where he's standing on the stairs and he's got the zombies coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supporting that one too.
Nice.
Love that one. What do you think of that one?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh man, I gotta send you these pictures.
Is it the one that Titty Nun painted? Is that the one?
No, that's a different one where he's like leaning back and he's shooting. I love that one too.
Yeah, that one.
One too. That one's amazing. But anyway, circling back around, my point is that I haven't seen anybody do like a classic spawn, like an Al Simmons spawn, right? Because all the spawns, if you don't know, are all different guys. There's many different types of spawns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I never saw a really good like Al Simmons classic spawn, right? And then I saw this one, and before we even spoke, Dan, I went into our private chat, and what did I tell you guys? I was like, day one.
Yep.
Day one. Easily.
I can vouch.
Yeah, it was amazing. But let's look through these pictures. And Dan, you could stop me anytime to talk about it.
Actually, you got a couple of questions up in the chat here, Dan. So first thing is, and I agree, everyone who's honing in on the cape, Dan, so far you've nailed that. That thing is a living entity in itself. And I love
that was the whole driving force behind that.
Yep.
Not only that, but the collar and the shoulders. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
It had to represent what was seen, when he first received the suit.
Yes.
So.
Now, does his eyes light up? That was one of the questions that Catherine had.
So here's the thing: we're not doing the light up, and the reason is because if we do light up, the eyes can't be as bright and as vibrant when the lights are off. So this won't have a light up. But
all right.
We're gonna do, we'll be using fluorescence, and fun fact is that we'll also be doing a fluorescent, what do you call it there? Glow in the dark.
So, like a black light.
Not a black light, but if you shut the lights off, the eyes, the smoke and the flames will
there you go. Love it.
So, but and because whenever you're doing a light up for eyes, and especially for his eyes, they're so small.
Yeah.
Like it has to be somewhat clear. So if the lights are off, the eyes aren't going to be as bright and as vibrant. But if we do it without the light, we use fluorescent paints, then the eyes will always be bright, and will always be bright green.
I mean, this shot alone right now looks like the cover of a comic.
This is the way I would display it in my collection if
this is how I would do.
This is the view right here, and we're gonna get some close-up shots of this in a second. But let me tell you, I get real giddy about like certain pieces, and this is one of them, man. I love it. I love it. And you can tell Dan had a passion for Spawn. And when he explained, hey, I like the figures and stuff when I was a kid or whatever, it shows in this. You know what I mean? It translates. So
I asked Dan a question because I like Spawn. I don't love Spawn like you guys do, but I do like Spawn. Growing up in the 90s, who doesn't like Spawn, right? Like really.
Yeah.
But I asked a question like, what about the stomach? Because it's going in a bit, and what about the cape? If it could be, how come it's not brighter? And the explanation I got was fantastic. Like it makes complete sense to me. That was the direction that Dan was going for, and it that undead but still alive type feel, not
works
like a comic. It makes perfect sense, and yeah, I see it. It makes perfect sense, and it works for this.
Yeah, the idea is, I mean, he's a corpse, right? He's dead.
Yeah.
And we wanted to add something, make him look a bit emaciated, like corpses usually are, from rotting, but also, maintain the musculature and anatomy that we see in the comics.
What's up, Rashid?
And like I said, it's more of it's a realistic conceptual design, of what he would look like maybe if we saw him in a movie or something like.
It was realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, realistic take on it. So.
Here's a question for you, Dan. How did you tackle the chains? Are they posable?
No, the chains won't be posable. They'll be stationary. But, we, again, like the cape needed to be its own entity, but just like the chains are. So I wanted them to be, I wanted them to look alive, like, they always do. They're always moving and going all over the place. And I mean, I tried to do it in a manner where it didn't look too crazy and where it could work, having
your vision. Yes, it is.
A few points of contact for the chains to give them support. So that was the direction we took with those.
Let me tell you guys, as we go through these pictures and we get some close-ups, and there's nothing in it for me for saying this, but if you guys want to support this project, this, in my opinion, and me being a big Spawn lover, this would be the Spawn to get. This is like the definitive classic Spawn that I've seen to date. And I think they're working on this project in 2 different scales. Dan, am I right on that?
Yeah, 1/4 and 1/3.
Yeah.
So if we can get enough people to do the limited run for each one, then
if you guys want to support this project, just contact Dan, okay? And he'll give you all the details on everything. We're not going to be putting the details here, but he'll give you the details on everything. But yes, this is like a phenomenal piece.
I'm still waiting for McFarlane to call you, Dan, because he should be proud of how this piece came out.
I bet if he knew this piece existed, maybe he does, I don't know. But if he knew this piece existed, he'd probably be like, I'd sign off on that.
I want that toy line.
I want that. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I love every every portrait, every swap out is cool. I love it with the guns. I like it like this too.
Yeah, because I mean that's in that issue 32. He's exposed with his hamburger head with the guns, and some may be wondering, well, why didn't you do the shoelace face? Because I didn't honestly, my personal opinion, I didn't really care for the shoelace in the face.
Yeah, I hated that.
It just looks a little, I don't know, just looks a bit odd, gimmicky. So again, went with the more realistic, aspect of it for that. So
hey, Jonas, you can send a message to one of us.
Yeah, I gave him my name in the chat for other customs. I'll give you the info there, Jonas.
Yeah, we'll send you if you're trying to support what Dan's doing and the projects that he's working on. Yeah, just shoot us a message. But guys, I'm telling you, just it's gonna get quick. You need to be quick. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyway,
I will say this. And people who know me know I don't blow smoke up people's ass. If I think something doesn't look good, I'll say it. If I think it looks like shit, I'll say it. I've been following Dan for a while, and his pieces are quality. He puts a lot of hard work into them. He puts a lot of love and passion. You could tell he's a collector like us. He's a fan. And I have one of his pieces. I've seen others. They are fantastic. So I have no doubt this will be great. And this is one of my 2 favorite spawns that I've seen on the market.
I can back up Shane here. I've got a number of Dan's pieces, and from licensed to unlicensed vendors, Dan's the only vendor that I have never sold one of his pieces after getting it. It's just not going to leave my collection. I love all the stuff I get from him.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, this is Dan. I'm excited to watch the progression of this project. I hope. And this is all. Are these vendor? Are these not? Is this a prototype or is this renders?
This is digital render.
Wow.
So this being a group commission, the people who support the project get, that's how they get made. So people don't support it. It doesn't get done.
And I love it. Yeah, and I think it's been very, very it's been very welcoming by everybody that's seen it so far. So
I mean, if President-elect Rashid said Dan stuff is quality, there you go.
Yeah.
Always trust
he knows a lot of the history and he really reads the comics, so he knows a lot about this kind of stuff. So if Rashid is saying, hey man, it's good, it's usually pretty good. But anyway, like I said, we wouldn't even have Dan on the show if we didn't like it. You know what I mean?
No, because we wouldn't bring
like
you on just to tell you your shit. So,
so we wouldn't even like it.
Well, I mean, you know, so I've had one person message me in BM. You know, they saw it, they were blown away by it, but then when they saw the base with the maggots and the worms,
they didn't like that part.
He doesn't do the maggots and worms, so
I
he
mean,
was okay with the skulls
purpose.
and the corpses, you know, the hamburger head, but you know, can't do maggots and worms. So
that's Spawn. That's like
that's
Spawn is a dark, gritty, like it's just a dark universe. So you can't have like a happy-go-lucky Spawn in your display. And
the reason why I added the worms and the maggots is, you know, because of from the if my memory serves me correctly, the animated HBO series.
Yeah,
you know, I think there was a line in there where he mentioned the maggots and the worms. And you know, the artwork on that was really dark and gritty, and that's kind of, I was like, yeah, I mean, because everybody did skulls, but you know, I really wanted to go take it a little bit further, and you know, let's do a rotting corpse and skulls with maggots and worms.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the guy lives in an alley. What do you expect?
From hell, his skin is singed off, like
right. Yep.
No, it's all good. Listen, some people just like it a certain way. They might like Spawn, but they might have kids in their house or something like that. So
maybe they have a phobia of bugs.
Well, yeah, that was the one thing the guy was like, I don't do worms, he says. I'm like, well, you know, I understand.
I did see a different Spawn. I don't even know who makes it, but it's not as good as yours, in my opinion. But I did think one of the portraits was pretty cool. It was his skull portrait, and he had a bunch of worms or maggots in his mouth because he had like a kind of gaped open mouth, kind of like screaming or whatever. And there was worms and maggots all in his tongue and in his mouth. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the open mouth one though, that's, you know, that's more, I don't even think that's even Al Simmons.
Yeah,
the one I think of is when I see Spawn with his mouth open, that's more of a modernized take of it. So
yeah, and I think it was more modernized.
This is all right. I'm gonna stop fanboying over this thing. I love it.
It's okay.
I love it.
Fanboy away.
Yeah, guys, jump on it if you're trying to support this. That, like, the weapons look good, you know.
Yeah, that's actually, the weapons are actually inspired, right? This one particularly is actually inspired by one of a more modern cover art. I can't remember what the name of the comic cover is, or the issue, I should say. It's where he's, you know, he shows his hamburger head and he's standing there over a guy and he's holding the gun. That's a direct, you know, inspiration from that gun. And so isn't the other gun that he's holding. So
wait, is this pose and is this from an actual comic cover, or did you just take inspiration from different things and put it in?
Yeah, I took inspiration from artwork and stuff like that. As far as, you know, it's from many different pieces of art. You know, the pose is compiled of, you know, the arm positions and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I always try to put something that, you know, it can be related to, you know, the character, that, you know, even like with you know, pieces from the movies and Star Wars and stuff, you know.
There's a question for you here, Dan. First of all, I want to give shout out to Crippler.
Hey, Crip. What's up, Crip?
Crip?
From the real Anime King, Slifer, he asks, would you consider a comic style if this does well?
Like, you mean straight up out of the comic?
Yeah, he's talking about like the brighter look, the more
kind of what I mentioned.
You know, the suit painted on the naked anatomy, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it might, you know, it depends, you know, on, yeah, I mean,
how it does. Yeah.
See how, you know, how many will support this. I mean, it all comes down to people supporting the, you know, the limited runs. So
yeah,
it can't get done if people don't support it. So.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but if there's enough people, this will be 1/4 and 1/3.
Yep.
I don't see you having a problem for the 1/4 at all. Like, people seem to love this. 1/3, I don't see a problem either. It's just there's a lot more 1/4 scale collectors, and the 1/4 alone is big. Like, this is a big, beautiful piece. Like, this thing demands space and it deserves it. So
I was just saying, like, a couple episodes ago, I was like, I wish somebody would create a 1/3, even though most of my collection, like for Spawn, is quarter, but like, I wish somebody would make a 1/3 Spawn that for 1/3 collectors that have these bigger pieces so they can all look really good. Nobody ever made it. And then this got, they were talking about this. So, but anyway, I'm going to move on because we could be on.
Are you getting 1/3 then, Adam?
What's that?
Are you going to get 1/3?
I'm going to probably support like a quarter scale piece, because I have my other, remember the other Spawns that I'm getting are going to be quarter. So I want to display them together. I really would love a 1/3, but I would if I didn't have other ones that I ordered that were quarter. So,
would you say Spawn is your favorite character out of any genre, any IP?
Yeah. More than Predator, more than Terminator, more than Aliens. Yes.
I don't know. Buying a 1/4 doesn't seem like you're saying that's your favorite.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you were a real Spawn fan, you would get a pedestal and have a standalone 1/3 Spawn, and then have your other 1/4 Spawns on your shelf. Because you're not going to get an opportunity to get a 1/3 scale in those other statues.
You guys are
just saying. I mean, I'm calling a spade a spade.
All right, we'll talk about it. Let's move on. Now you got the gears turning, but we'll move on.
This won't be the last time.
Just know if you guys want to support this project,
which you should,
because this is like,
yeah.
Anyway, I digress because we're going to be on this too long. But anyway, let's look at some other projects that Dan's working on. This is Star Killer, right? The Star Killer?
Well, I don't know. You haven't changed the picture.
I know.
Yeah, it's a gun.
It's changed. It's changed on mine.
No, this is on.
Is it still showing?
No. Hey, MacBook for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys don't see that?
No, don't see it. Still look at Spawn's gun here.
Really? I've been changing the pictures the whole time. Oh my God. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry.
All good.
Let me stop sharing for a second. No. Give me 1 second, guys.
My idea is not sounding so bad now, is it, Kev? What I suggested a few days ago.
Without a doubt, I'm working on the logo right now.
Just saying. Just saying.
Don't let the door hit your ass.
Right. Got a little bit of immunity on the show.
You, I could break you.
All right, hang on. Let me try to fix this. Oh my God, this is what I get for getting a new MacBook.
That's what you
While
get for
we're
being
waiting
a
for
Mac.
Adam to play on his $5,000 computer, Tripler, we got to play some
I got to step out real quick. I'll be right back, you guys.
No worries,
go ahead, man.
All right,
Okay.
let's do some BG3 tomorrow if you're available.
BG3. That sounds like a drug.
It could be.
Most of us are on it for several hours each day.
I haven't actually played in weeks. I've been busy, and I know I got my single game, but then I got stuff going on, work and family. And when I do have time, I want to play with Crippler, and he's not available. And, haven't played. I haven't had my fix in a few weeks.
All right, let me try to pull this back up, guys. Oh my God, MacBook. You were supposed to be easier. If I knew what I was doing.
If anyone's upset by the technical difficulties, go on to the Collectors Table Facebook group and voice how upset you are, and we'll take action.
Go ahead and dislike this video if you're.
Yeah, just give a thumbs down.
Thumbs down, please.
Yeah, report Adam to YouTube.
Oh my God, this thing's kicking my ass. Hang on. I thought I was like switching the pictures the whole time, and you guys are like, no, we're still staring at it.
Well, you were up until.
All right.
I mean, for you, it's all downhill from Spawn anyway. So.
Yeah. Adam, I warned you last night not to put all those porn pics on your new machine. It was just going to bring viruses.
All right. I think I might have it now. Let me see.
There's no need for a pause. It's true. I do. Take that how you want. Ledge, I'm reporting now. Thanks for the heads up. I'm a man of the people. That's what I'm here for.
All right. Can you guys see that now?
Yep.
Shane's collection. Yep.
We're gonna do this again.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
You can't just click on the picture. You got to start at picture 1 and go through 300 pictures.
Yep.
MacBook for the win.
And so I figure out what I'm doing. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't freeze again.
No.
Look at that. We just lost 16 viewers in the last 30 seconds.
Let them go. They'll be all right. All right. So where was I? Star Killer.
Yeah.
Even Dan left. He's like, what a fucking Mickey Mouse production is this?
Yeah.
Shay, I don't know what Shade's talking about. He didn't even know how to use 2 fucking screens on his computer.
That's because the screen I had at the time was fucking up. I now have a computer monitor. It was a TV, and it wasn't being recognized by my laptop. Now I have a computer monitor. It's perfectly fine. And so that's completely different.
No one cares, Shane.
And I didn't spend $12,000 for that TV.
I was about to say, I picture Shane here with his CRT, and he's trying to plug that into the. I don't know why this thing don't work.
Future Kevin, go fucking yourself.
All right, we're back. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. So Star Killer, looks like it's just. Did it just get printed or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Just a week or 2 ago, a couple weeks.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, man. It's like I don't know how to run the show anymore. I've been gone for like a month.
So Dan, when it comes to selecting these pieces, is this a personal preference? Do you kind of reach out to the community, try to see where they want to go with the piece? How do you make the decisions on which ones you're going to move next?
Well, it's a little bit of both. No one's done this one. It's
Sure.
like either I can't remember what the name of the one that basically looks like Darth Vader. To me, this design was the more evil of all of them. I'm not saying the other one isn't cool, which it is, but I really love this design and the look. Sith Stalker is what it's called. So, but there's some pieces the community wants. We'll do polls sometimes. At certain points of the year. What they'd like to see. But usually it is a personal preference, but it's also based on what has been done. Is anybody even going to really make? I mean, anybody else going to make one of these? It's a bit. This was a little bit challenging to do because of with all those lightsabers on his belt and all the. I mean, he's got a lot of like leather straps and wires coming out of his head, and the little chain links on his belt.
Yeah.
So, not super complicated, but there's just this certain way to be able to do it and try to keep things realistic. But yeah, I mean,
this is based off the game. Is this based off the? Okay.
Yep, the character. So in the Force Unleashed, I think it was the Sith edition.
Yeah, I remember the game. I don't remember him looking like this. This is probably later in the game where you could swap stuff out or something. I don't know. I never played the game.
It was a Sith edition. It's where you can actually encounter him in was it the Jedi? It was a Jedi temple or something. And that's what the base is, inspired by.
Okay.
It's actually something from the game that you see in there. But what's his name? I forgot his name. The main character, Starkiller, fights him. Yeah, So he basically fights himself.
Okay.
Then, in the game, you can play as him, and you encounter Darth Vader, Darth Maul. Who's the other guy? The general there.
Yeah, Crippler's saying, it was in a DLC. It wasn't in the base game. If anybody knows about games, it's Crippler for sure. But yeah,
right. But they did a different version later on where you could play this guy, and you can hunt down. Like I said, you fought Darth Maul, Darth Vader. The master there, forget his name.
I don't know the name.
The old guy, yeah. But all the lightsabers on his belt are from characters from the game that they defeated, or that he defeated in the game. So they're like trophies or whatnot.
Very nice.
Hey Dan, one of the questions from Slifer was, and a few other guys in the chat too, is would you consider doing another version of Starkiller, more kind of along the lines of Galen from the first one?
Yeah, definitely. I know I've had a lot of people come to me asking me to do the human version. I mean, I get everybody asking, for different other versions too, but I don't know, maybe it'll be a poll or something.
Yeah.
To see, which one most people would like to see.
I got a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Are there any characters that you're Star Wars, or I guess even not Star Wars, any other characters that you got that you're either going to produce for sure, or toying with the idea, or would like to produce?
Yeah, I mean, I've got all kinds of, ideas and projects that I'd like to do.
Like, what are your top three, for example, or three of your top anyway?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't. I mean, I kind of already done those.
Like, no one's done a 1/4 scale Darth Vitiate, which is the emperor who becomes
the one with the white armor.
No one's done a 1/4 scale yet. Yeah. I can't believe no one's done it, but no one's done a Valkyrion or a Darth Vitiate.
It comes down to getting the people to support those projects. You may love that character, right? I may love that character,
but 90 other people might not.
Yeah, I know. Majority of the people know
25
they
people
know now in Star Wars.
Yeah, I get it.
It all depends. I mean, Durge. I love Durge. No one's done them. I wanted to do them.
Well, let's start looking at these other. We're gonna get to Durge in a second, if you don't mind, Dan. And the next one that I got.
Yeah.
I saw this.
Perfect example.
God.
Not enough support.
You said not enough.
Nope.
I don't even know what this is. Obviously, it's a female spawn on a bike.
This is Jessica Priest.
I've heard that name before.
She's the one who killed Al Simmons.
Okay. That's where I know her from.
Right.
Priest comes back as a female? Is that what happens in the storyline?
Who?
I thought Priest, the one who kills Al Simmons, that was his buddy.
Not the Priest.
Okay.
Jessica Priest.
Yeah.
She was an assassin with Al Simmons, and then she was the one who actually killed him and set him on fire and burnt him and all that. This is like I can't remember what issue it was. I think was it 150 or 2? I can't remember what issue it was. Oh no, issue 300. She was introduced there, and it's Jessica Priest. Like again, this is more modernized version of her, or the latest version of her. But she comes back as a she spawn. She fights alongside with Spawn and all that. And this one here actually is taken right out of the comic book. Like, of course, added some realistic elements to it. As far as her suit. We did it's like a muscle fiber type deal on her suit. To give it some texture or whatnot.
That's cool.
Like her skin was peeled off.
God, it looks so good.
Some of these that don't get funded, Dan, do you ever think about, I might just test the market a little bit later and see if there's an appetite?
Yeah, I'll probably do that with her at some point. I might, offer model kits or something like that. Maybe STL, I don't know. Haven't really.
This project is off then.
What's that?
This project's off then?
Unfortunately, as of right now, it is, yep.
Oh, guys, come on.
He's just not, I know it's more of a die-hard Spawn fan.
I guess.
More of, Spawn himself is far more popular. So.
Well, I don't know why Adam's getting so upset. He's only looking at buying 1/4.
Yeah, you're not even a real Spawn fan.
Yeah. God, go back to putting some bricks in the driveway.
1/3, the best Spawn you've ever seen, and you won't buy it? Get out of here.
It's too bad because the artist did a lot of work on that. And
are you talking about on this one?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Doing hard surface compared to organic surface, that's like Transformers, right? Robots, things like that. That is that's a lot more difficult to do than say, you have a little more leeway with an organic type of sculpt than you do hard surface that is mechanical, and you have to be precise, and everything needs to be, sometimes everything needs to be asymmetrical, and there's not really much leeway there for that. So I mean, if you look at those transformer pieces that have all those mechanical details, that is a shit ton of work.
Oh, it seems like it. Yeah.
No, it is. And this motorcycle here, it's like, it's like sculpting another person, or it's not. You may look at it, oh well, that's a lot of smoothness and this and that, but that can be a lot more difficult to make, to create than it is,
with all the striations and like the lines. And,
exactly. Yeah. Everything has to be perfect and, precise. So
yeah.
We got a question for you here. Any 1/3 malls left?
No.
There's a wait list though?
There is, yeah.
There you go. Wait list.
All right, guys, we're going to keep it moving because we got other stuff to talk about.
There's a real Darth Maul fan who wants 1/3.
Yeah, exactly.
Crippler says on this show, I'm the fake Shane. Well, I'm with the fake Spawn collector, so I guess I fit in.
Oh my God! Hey, you know what, Dan? On this show, they love to beat the dead horse to death. Trust me.
That's all.
They love it.
It's all in good. It's all in love.
Oh, I know. All right, so Yoda. This Yoda looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is the scene right out of the movie. I remember when he puts his hand up like that.
Yeah, that's where he
and he kind of does that bring it and let's fight kind of deal.
Yeah, that's where he encounters Darth Sidious.
Yeah,
and then your rule is
very cool.
Not short enough it was.
Is this done? Is this project done already?
It's in the process of being produced. This is the 1/3 scale paint sample.
Nice.
Now, Dan, I've got to imagine every piece that you create, you have a version that comes to you, right? You own them all?
Yeah. Yep. The sample comes to me.
Oh man, you need to take some photos and send these. I mean, I missed out on getting this one, but I would love to see these live.
Yeah, well, typically, so, I don't beforehand. I was having them send them to me, but it's almost to the point where it's like I'm spending money to have things shipped to me, and they can just send me good photos to see what it looks like. So, the only ones that I've had sent to me and looked over was the Vader and Mandalorian, and I mean, the people I have producing these things for us. I mean, they do a phenomenal job.
Do you get nervous about that though, Dan? Like not seeing a physical sample in your hands? Does that still make it more nervous?
No, they've proven to me that they know what they're doing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I mean, I'm up to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes talking to them, going over. Like I'm involved in every process. I don't just say, okay, here it is, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They send me photos and say, how's this, how's that, and if you understand how photos work and what it compared to what it would look like in hand or that, you know what I mean? Because typically sometimes depending on the lighting, if it's too bright light washes out color, too dark, it enhances it, so
I love this look.
Every piece that I've received from them, working with them with just doing photos, I try to do that to cut down on the time.
So you get sure, and you've all, which I'm sure a lot of people appreciate, but so you've just gained a relationship and a trust with certain factories and stuff like that, and
right,
that's good.
Yeah, and
it makes a lot more sense, especially if you got a history with them, and then you're just like, man, I know you like with K-Fed, if he did something for me, and like he did with Shane knew it was going to come out great, and it did. Right. So I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah, and they haven't given me any reason. And like I said, I don't settle. Like they when I talk to them, I'm sure they're probably like rolling their eyeballs, like, geez, and crow, like, they're expecting me to say, oh yeah, good enough. I don't do that. I want
that's good.
Yeah, I want things done how I want it done.
And I think most people are okay with a project taking longer as long as it came out good. You know what I mean?
Some do. Some people don't like to wait and they want it now. I get that, but I can't. I can't do it that way.
You'll mess up your reputation.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to rush a project out the door just for the sake of getting it done. That's when mistakes happen. And bad quality happens. And look, I'm not saying there's always the chance that when you ship things out, things get broken in shipping. I mean, everybody deals with it. It always happens. But it's, taking care of the people that support the projects. That's what's really important. So,
yeah.
What's up, Cash? Happens, it happens.
Yep. No, I get it.
Right here.
I'll validate that. I mean, I've had a piece of Dan's come in, and I think the arm was broken or something, but Dan was real responsive, got me a new part out immediately. No big deal. Good customer service.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
That's all it's all about. I mean, I would expect that from others,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would want. So
let's talk about this big bad boy, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Durge, man, he looks great. Anyone who hasn't seen the old Star Wars, the older animated series, really got to watch it. Durge is a beast.
Yeah, that's when I first saw him and fell in love with him.
Yeah.
And then, throughout the years and the comics, which this is, this version of him is heavily based on.
Shame.
Stop. With the two different the few different helmets and stuff, tried to fit in all that in there. But yeah, the artist who did this did a phenomenal job on it. I did a tiny bit of work, just nothing you would notice.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't even know much about this character. K-Fett was telling me more about the character, and once he did, I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he makes Boba Fett look like a puppy dog.
Oh, this guy's basically invincible.
Yeah, he is. He is invincible, really.
I'm surprised he's not more popular than what he is. You know what I mean?
Well, when they realistically, they really should have had him in the Star Wars universe more, like in live action. I mean, it's just, could you imagine seeing this guy in live action? I want to see him in a movie, but I don't know. Disney bought it and they tossed out the.
There you go, right there. Disney bought it.
Yeah, we don't like Kathleen touching him.
Is this a shoulder cannon or is this like a spot?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, so the backpack he has, he has two of those, and it kind of like guided wherever he looks with his helmet. He can use them to shoot with, and those are rockets for his backpack. Those actually extend out to where he can fly off.
That's cool.
I initially had it like that, but it just wasn't working with the pose. It didn't really make much sense. He just killed a couple of Mandalorians, which, he hates Mandalorians.
I think he hates everyone.
Yeah. The Mandalorians. And then when the Mandalorians died off, he found out that the clones were from the Mandalorian. So he started killing clones. and love doing that. So
Yeah, Sexy Lamb said in 5-minute miniseries, this dude was a problem.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love the guy. I mean,
this guy's like a mixture between Predator and T-1000.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Edwin is saying it took Anakin a while with this dude. I guess they were fighting. Yeah,
in the comics, and the only way that Anakin did end up finally killing him, he force pushed him into a shuttle or something, and then sealed it somehow, and then force pushed the shuttle into the sun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
good stuff, man. You got a lot of projects in the works. I know this is all the swap outs for this one.
I was gonna say, Adam, let's get over to some of the other headshots because I love this representation of Durge, but then you got a couple here with the different helmet, the different without the helmet. These are great. You're gonna get a lot of options as a collector to display this guy.
What is this right here? If you guys don't mind me asking, is that part of him, or is this
that's what he looks like underneath?
Yeah, that's him.
Damaged.
Okay.
When he gets damaged and his body is exposed, so basically his body consists of muscles, tendons, and veins. Like, he doesn't have any bones or anything, and he's almost like a shapeshifter. He can be any size. He can fit into, can basically take the shape of whatever. But like when you first saw him in the Clone Wars animated cartoon, those DVDs, when Kenobi hacks him all up and he comes and regenerates and comes back together, you see his exposed arms and basically that's what it is. So
okay, very cool.
Dan, on the 1/4, what's the height on this guy?
I'd have to look that up. I don't know that right off the top of my head. So he is based off of 8 feet tall. So he's
so it's 2 feet without the base.
Exactly. So he's probably about 20, 26, 28, something like that, maybe.
Can you just show us with your hands? No.
That's a
running joke. Running joke.
Yeah. Oh, you got a tape measure there. There you go.
Yeah.
Those are inaccurate. This is
more accurate in our world. About this big.
New thing.
Dan, we always talked about like when they show like pictures, like if statue companies and they don't show us dimensions, but they just have a person standing next to them with
they're like this,
like this big.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that.
I'm like, that makes perfect sense. That'll fit.
I mean, I put up the dimensions. People know how big he is.
I got you.
The base is pretty big. The base was actually a lot bigger. We actually cut that down significantly from how it first was, because it just, I try to, he's a big character. So when creating these pieces, I do try to keep shipping costs in mind and try not to make things as big as they possibly can.
This looks so cool right
but
here.
You got to keep it true to the character too. So.
Yeah, and realistically, his with the fact that he can control his mass and his size, so that kind of fell into place because I think he's like either 9 or 10 feet tall or something like that in the comics. But there's also in the comics he's like maybe 6'5" or something like that. So I went with the average height in between around 8 feet tall, because he needs to be imposing and big. That's more of his modern day height.
Yeah, is that dimensions right there, Shane? If you want to throw that up.
So someone was asking the dimensions for Spawn. I assume they're talking about the 1/4 Spawn, but I'm also going to throw up the 1/3 Spawn.
Yeah, what is the 1/3? I wonder how tall
that is. I have that handy right here. Hold on.
It's right here for 1/3.
Yeah,
it's true. Collected at 37 inches.
Yeah, Durge is in there too. It's right beside. If you go to the featured section, it's right up there.
So that Spawn is taller than the Jungle Hunter. Holy.
Yeah, he's on a tall rocky base. So
yeah.
The cape. It's the cape. The overall height. Yeah, but size wise for the figure.
I mean, if you're a bigger Spawn fan than Predator, you should have a bigger Spawn statue than Predator. That's just logical.
He's looking to see if he can fit it.
I know.
You could fit it. That's a big room. You get a pedestal right there, a nice
Look how
center.
empty it's back
You know, Shane, like they're joking around a lot, but like I'm actually really thinking about it. Like,
Well, I'm not joking around. You get a pedestal, get it made for $100, and you put that as a centerpiece with, like, it's right in the center. You can see it through
the other quarter scale spawns I got. You know what I mean? I just wanted to display them together, but like,
oh, I see.
we'll think.
Come on, Adam. We just said I got a CNC router. We'll carve in Spawn's logo on the front of that pedestal for you.
Oh man, now you guys are getting good ideas.
Let's do this.
Get lights at the top of the pedestal shining up on Spawn. You're golden, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. And by the way, guys, we covered a lot of Dan's projects, and I really there's a lot going on with Dan and working on all these projects. As far as the community, I know we appreciate you working on. I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. We were talking about how tedious this is. Even if we don't buy every piece, or excuse me, even if we don't support every piece that comes out, you know, we still appreciate the time and the effort.
And I understand not every character is
for you. Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
right.
I'm the same way. Like, not everything's for me. You know, I don't expect people. I mean, I can admire that, you know, and respect and appreciate the hard work that goes into the pieces, but you know,
oh my God, look at everybody.
I feel the same thing with everybody else. You know, I mean, everyone likes what they like, and people, you know, you like what you like, and you don't like what you don't like. So
yeah,
it is what it is. That's what makes it diverse.
We might actually have to switch this up.
Let's read these comments for a second.
No, we don't have to read them. We might switch them up.
Wow, that's how Adam feels about the viewers.
Yeah. Okay. No. He knows. Hey,
it's okay for show, Adam. We do what you want. We know how it is.
All right,
sorry,
so moving on.
I'll be quiet for the year.
Actually, I like the fact that I might actually be doing this, but I don't want to spend too long on it. What's Let's say?
Just look at the dimensions. Look, I don't. Just make sure if you do it, that's what you want. You know,
I'm banning ledge.
You gotta. 1/3 is going to be really, really big, you know, not just height wise, but you know, you've got that cape going.
Yeah. How wide? What was it? How wide was it?
Like, it's 41.5 wide and 25.5 deep. That's nothing. You got that. That's a pedestal. You just said you have a jumbo room.
I didn't say I have a jumbo fucking room, Shane.
We can stand behind you. You got a jumbo room. You're good.
Yeah,
just put it in your living room, right in the
yeah. I'll put it right next. I'll put it in my kids' room, as a matter of fact, with all the fucking maggots and shit. That'll make sense.
Just think, Adam, when you walk into your man cave, the first thing you see will be
listen.
1/3 scale spawn.
Seriously, you really got me thinking. Like, honestly, it makes sense.
I had your space, no question. I mean, shit, I got my space, and I have some statues on pedestals.
Look at Crippler. All right, guys, we're gonna keep it moving because we got other stuff to cover. Dan, I appreciate you sharing all that stuff with us, man. Like I said, if you guys want to support Dan and what he's doing, and like I said, I wouldn't have him on the show if we didn't support Dan. So if you want to support him, really good guy in the community, seems to have a really good reputation. Like I said, these guys know him better than I do. And if these guys say he's good with me. So
we had a question from Rashid. Dan, would you consider doing a pit statue?
Actually, that's one that I mean I've considered on doing one of him at some point. You know, we're probably going to delve into the. I mean, I haven't always just done Star Wars. You know, I've done other superheroes. You know, Batman. I've done a Hulk. Which we didn't
actually
show.
Fatal just got your Hulk in.
Pardon?
Fatal posted that he got your Bruce Banner Hulk.
Yeah, that you know, I just recently did that one. But I've done, you know, a comic book version of him beforehand. But I'm, you know, we're gonna dive back into doing some more comic pieces. You know, and we'll give them the treatment that we do with all the pieces for DMD. So
I have no doubt.
Hey, Dan, I mean, the community's starving for it. Would you consider a poison ivy?
Yeah, because there's not 50,000 of those fucking things.
We haven't seen more of those.
Probably. I don't know.
Just no,
it all
man.
depends. I
Just
probably
no.
not, because I tend to try not to do things that have already been done to death.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, speaking of that, I do constructive outrage with Critical Mass, Crippler, and Rashid, and there are some big Bishop fans from X-Men. Would you consider doing a 1/4 scale Bishop? Please. No one's tackled it and done it properly.
Really? I've seen a few of Bishop's done before.
Yeah. Okay. I shouldn't say they didn't do it properly. They didn't do it, in my opinion, and in their opinion. Otherwise, they would have bought it by now. Yeah. They didn't do it justice, or the version they like.
Yeah, we need a Bishop.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not about me wanting to do a project. I mean, I tell, the supporters, it's like, I'll do anything that you want, but you got to have the people to support it. I'm not going to go out and do something, like, if I feel it's a piece that, okay, I'm going to, like, let's take She-Spawn, for instance. I took a risk on that, okay, to do that one. It wasn't successful.
It didn't pan out.
Didn't get enough supporters to make it happen. So, all that time and money you put into it.
Yeah.
Is that something you could just shelf then, and then if it's possible it comes back to life or something like that? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible for that to come back to life again. I was considering doing, maybe selling the STL, but then that would, she'd have to be engineered and all that. But maybe offering model kits or something of that nature, something to be a little less, a garage kit, not fully paint, all cleaned up and primed and ready for paint, not something from the factory. I'm talking garage kit, or maybe I could sell prints, but it's just being able to, putting that much money into something and then, people not supporting it to be able to.
I get it. What it basically comes down to, you got to have enough people support it. If you don't, then it can't be made. So
exactly,
I get it. And then it's not even before it's made. Like you said, you put all this time and effort and money into it just to find out that, it doesn't work out. So
I have people come to me all like, "Oh, hey," just like Shane said, "Hey, no one's done the first Emperor or whatever. I forget what his name is, but
Earth Vitiate."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I did go out and do it, how many people are going to support it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's always a risk. I tend to try to do pieces that and like when Kevin asked me, he's like, what are the thoughts that go into making a piece? Do you do it because you like it? Is it something that it's more personal preference compared to what people want? It's more of, okay, yeah, I really want to do this piece because no one's done it before and I like this character. That's kind of like, that's the first part of it. But then it's also, I take into consideration, will I get enough people to support this project?
Yeah.
I did take a risk on Durge, but I loved him so much as a character that kind of drove me to want to do it. So I invested with the artist to sculpt it. Hopefully I can get enough people to support it to make it a reality.
Yeah.
So doing a Bishop, if I could have in a perfect world, if you get 25 to 30 people to say, you know what? Yeah, let's all get together. Let's have Dan make this for me.
Yeah, it would be great.
With that said, I put up a poll, so we'll see how many people. I didn't put, would you be interested, Bishop? Yes or no? Just who would be in, and the option is yes, or just don't put yes. So
let's see, that's the thing. People saying they'd be in, like
I understand.
In as interested. Yeah. Yes, I'm interested, but yet then you're going to get to go. Well, it all depends on what it looks like and how much the price is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or the guy that says, I'm so in, then he's fucking ghost when it comes out.
Yeah, I know. There's always going to be those people, always, on any project, always.
So as a producer, you have to, there's risks involved in any project.
It's got to be a happy balance. Yeah, and then this is why you have 15,000 million Batmans, because they know that shit will sell no matter what. But it does get exhausting for the small niche of guys that want something different. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do it. It's just, I mean, I even tried the whole, trying, a whole group effort of, okay, so like the poll you put in a bishop, okay, who's in, who wants to do it? If you all will commit. See, there's commitment. Who wants to commit to this project? Meaning, yep, I'm going to back this project no matter what, 100%. I'll help fund it. What do we need to do to make it happen? And like I said, you need to, I got to have at least 25 people at the minimum to make that happen.
To make it happen.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, we can try to make it happen for less, but the cost goes up.
Cost goes up, yeah.
So,
all right, guys.
A question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure. What's the PO down for? So I'm not even sure what piece you're talking about.
Or 1/3. He might be talking about Spawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you want information on that, just
send a PM. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're moving on to this Red Sonja. This is, man, you know what? What do you guys think about this? The skin complexion, I think, is really well done.
I like the dynamic pose. I like the engineering that they did to give the illusion that she's jumping through, and suspended in the air. My only thing is it's just like a big pile of blood, which, I mean, I don't know. I think I would have liked to have seen her actually cutting something, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Is there something else down there or
yeah, like what is like?
Well, there's if you go, there's actually a skeleton. It's a skeleton hand that's grabbing her from the blood.
Is that right?
Grabbing her right leg or right ankle.
So is it some sort of creature then?
I don't know. I'll tell you though, out of all the Red Sonja statues that Sideshow has done, I've looked at them and there's a few nice ones. I think this one might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Although my
She-Devil with a sword is the best one in my opinion.
Which one?
She-Devil with a sword, the one that William Harbottle sculpted. That thing, the anatomy, just everything about that piece, in my opinion, hasn't been topped yet. This is nice, but that one.
I just like how dynamic this is.
I really like this.
Although I'm very leery about Sideshow and their leaning issues, so I'm not sure I trust it, but I like it because that's quite an angle she's on, and that doesn't look like there's room for a large peg.
Where is she like pegged at mainly though? Like her 1 foot, I guess.
Yeah, that probably where that on. So that, well, he said it was a hand coming up and grabbing her ankle. You can see where that fits down into the base. So what they'll do is they'll put a steel rod, all the way up through her, probably more than likely all the way up into her torso.
Yeah.
Run down her leg and then down through her foot down into the base.
So you think that rod's going all the way through her leg right there?
I would hope so.
It would. It would have to.
Just so it could stay up.
Yeah,
I love everything about this.
Into the torso with it.
Now, we were looking at everybody's been talking about this. By the way, I love the portrait too. I think it's a beautiful face, even though it's an angry portrait.
Mm-hmm. I got to give it to Sideshow. They do a lot of good female portraits.
God, man, they nailed it. I think they nailed the skin complexion in the paint app on this, at least this prototype or whatever it is.
I hope that takes notes on how to put fucking emotion on a female portrait.
You said XM?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Like there's emotion.
And see, like I don't really know much about,
she's angry.
I don't know much about Red Sonja, but like this could pair up with like a Spawn statue in my eyes, like a medieval Spawn or something, you know?
Good.
It's a good looking statue.
Did they ever do anything together? Did those universes ever cross?
No.
No?
Yep. Sorry to shoot that one down.
I was just wondering, but it looked like it could go together. You know what I mean?
Conan.
Yeah. Conan, yes.
Yeah.
Crossed over with Conan. That's about it.
Right.
All right. So we were looking at this too.
That's a nice one.
We were talking about the Red Sonjas, and you got this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one I like a lot too.
Yeah.
This one I think would probably go better with a medieval spawn or something like that.
This would definitely go with a medieval spawn.
Yeah, I'm thinking of what I can pair with this. You know what I mean? But I like that one, and then there's this one, which
that was the first one they did.
I'm not a big fan of.
It's my least favorite out of the 4. It's not a bad statue, but it's my least favorite.
Yeah.
But it's the first, right? So you'd assume they're always going to.
You could tell it's a little dated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first one they did.
Nice.
It's not bad, but that next one is.
This one's great.
That's my favorite.
This is most people's favorite. I would say.
It's just so damn good.
It's my second favorite.
The portrait, the pose, the base. I mean, it just.
I agree. And you could tell it's not like some blood glob. She just killed a gigantic serpent or lizard.
I actually produced a shield for this.
Oh, nice.
Back when this first came out, so
I remember when this is a really nice piece, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, those are the Red Sonjas.
I love Red Sonja. I like Red Sonja, but if like I said, I'm limited on space. I would buy this statue. I would have bought this day one.
Actually, I own that she-devil with a sword.
Do you?
I had to buy it, so if I wanted to create the shield for it, so I could,
right,
fit it.
I think this one. I love how vibrant it is. Maybe it's just the pictures, but I love the colors and I love everything about this statue.
I agree.
I just really like it. So great job, Sideshow, with that one.
Yeah.
And I love the way the blood. I mean, look at that blood just coming off that sword like that. It looks really good.
The other thing is, again, it's Sideshow. What is the production going to look like?
This is true.
They could show us all the most beautiful statues, but let's see what it looks like when it hits the market.
The one that I got was fine. I mean,
a lot of them are. But
every piece that I've gotten from Sideshow has been great.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, 90% of my collection is Star Wars, but I've had the she-devil with the sword. I mean, I've had other pieces from them. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people want to crap all over them just because they've been around for so long. Their quality is just as good, if not better, as others, and none of the other companies that I know of beats their customer service.
I agree with you, but I do crap on Sideshow when there was a run going on for a while where they were putting out a few, and not every piece was bad, but a few issues with the pieces. And when I say a few, I know every run has a few, but more than just a few, with cockeyed or really bad paint bleed overs and shit like that. But as a whole, Sideshow is good, and they've really stepped it up, I feel, in the last couple of years.
And the thing of it is too, like the googly eyes. It happens. These things are made on a production run with a bunch of people on a production line.
Yeah.
They're all either hand painted or hand done as they go down the line. Yeah, mistakes happen, but it's like, you have the option to either, okay, you know what? It's got googly eyes. I don't want this piece. You can return it.
That's the good thing about it.
And they give you your money back.
That's the good thing about it.
They'll give you a partial credit.
That's where the customer service really shines for Sideshow, and not just Sideshow. A couple other companies will do stuff like that too. But the biggest thing is you hit the nail on the head, Dan. When all this stuff is made in a production line, there's going to be flaws sometimes. Not everything is going to come out perfect, especially if a lot of these things are handmade. But it's going to be where the company shines is going to be their customer service when resolving issues when they arise. And if you can successfully solve these issues tactfully and not just be an asshole and just be like, well,
too bad.
Too bad.
I've had pieces arrive broken and damaged or had issues, and I contact them. Me being knowing these and understanding pieces and being able to know how to fix some of the issues that I had, more 90% of the time I accepted the partial credit because it was a simple fix. I mean, you got some collectors out there. Okay, she's got a googly eye. It's like, okay, well, what do you want them to do? Okay, we'll send you a replacement head. Okay, but I mean, if well, that's not acceptable. You know, what do you want for a discount? Something that's simple and easy to fix. You know, you expecting like $100 off or $200 off? I mean, that's not going to happen. You know?
Because you're going to have some people that just want money back just to try to get money back. You know what I mean?
Right, and which they do, but it's it's probably okay. We'll give you $20 to, you know, oh, your little strap came unglued. Okay, we'll give you a $20 credit. Okay, cool. Super glue, bam, done, fixed.
Yeah.
I got $20 back, or I got a $20 credit. You know, put into my rewards points or something. You know.
We got Crippler saying if they fix her hair the way her hair sits on the head, the statue would be even better.
What do you mean? The way it sits on her head?
What do you mean? He's talking about I'm not sure if he's talking about the seam line on the right-hand side.
You mean the way it flows over her eyes?
Yeah, like that right there, like where the hair leaves the head, right at the top, going towards her right hand.
So is he saying he doesn't want it hanging
down? I'm not sure if that's what he's saying, but I've heard a couple people mention that spot before.
All right. Well, we're going to keep it moving.
You've been denied, Crippler. Denied.
No, I mean, Crip, I'm just trying to figure out what he's talking about, though. Is he talking about like what you were saying, Shane? Or there's a part right there?
No, I don't think it's the part. I think right there where you're going, I've heard people complain. Go back.
Like right here?
Oh, the other side?
Right here?
Yeah, right there. I've heard some people say that when they didn't like that. I'm not saying that's what he's talking about, but I've heard people mention that.
I don't think it looks terrible.
No, I don't think it looks terrible either.
But they don't want it to make it look like it's a hairpiece sitting on top of her head. I get it. Yeah,
right. They don't want it to look like it magnetizes in. It should be one continuous piece.
Jojo says the seam line.
Yeah, it's the seam line.
Yeah.
Or maybe where the hairline is, it's like an abrupt line. It doesn't really like flow out of her face.
Exactly. It doesn't gradually fade. It's just very abrupt. Exactly.
So,
there's your
Poison Ivy. Yeah.
One of many.
Dan's going to make another Poison Ivy. He's got 3 more in the works. No, I'm just kidding. But, all these Poison Ivies are really cool. I guess Poison Ivy is just like, she's just been, a lot of people been buying these things, right?
Well, they all have a low ES too. Well, not all, but a lot of them have low ES. It's just funny that they're all coming out at near the same time.
It's weird. It is strange that they're bringing all these Poison Ivies. Like, I would have kept a couple bullets in the gun. You know what I mean? But I guess
out a year over the next few years, but not all. Yeah, it's kind of
at least space them out like 6 months in between. You know,
because how many people collect multiple Poison Ivies? I'm going to guess not many.
So you got this flesh tone Poison Ivy. Then you got this green tone Poison Ivy, which I don't care for. I know it's true to the comic or whatever, but I just think in this statue, it doesn't look good to me, but that's just my opinion. I still like this though. Then you got
on this one, I prefer the flesh tone.
Yeah, I prefer the flesh. What about you, Kev?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the what's going on our cheeks.
Yeah,
the green one is like what? She looks like a clown.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
You talking about this one?
Tone that down.
No, go back to the green one. There you go.
Zoom into her cheek.
Yeah, see how the cheek, the blush?
Yep.
It's overdone.
And then you got, this one is my favorite probably.
This is my favorite, but the green variant is my favorite.
Wait, so this is both Sideshow?
Yeah, that's what we're laughing at. Sideshow released these probably within about a month or so apart.
Right.
Same scale or?
Yeah.
They're all quarter scale. They released them like machine gun, just like bringing them out with like a month or 2 in between, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was quick. So you got this one. This is the flesh tone, Dan, and then they got a green tone one, a variation. Now,
which they just announced last week. This one,
right? In some cases, they're not even saying that they're coming out with with these variants until later, which some people were upset about.
Yeah, people get upset about that. I see that all the time,
and rightfully so. If you're going to produce variants, just be transparent when, like, let's say you don't even have the variant ready yet, but you're like, here's Poison Ivy flesh tone. We will be coming out with a green skin variant. Then people will make the decision then. But not to tell people they jump on a Poison Ivy because we've been, well, not me personally, but they've been thirsting for Poison Ivy for years. And then they buy one. And then all of a sudden, oh, here's a green variant. I think that's dirty pool.
Yeah, no, I can agree. You know, I think, you know, either you want, I mean, I don't know. I think you would want to offer both at the same time. I mean, you might get some, oh, gee, they got two variants. Well, I want the skin tone and the green one.
I want both.
That's both.
Yeah.
I love this statue, though.
Yeah, this is nice.
This is my favorite out of
green variant's my favorite, but I love this statue.
Oh, that comes in a green variant too?
Yeah. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that blows my mind they'd come out with two back-to-back like that.
Yeah.
I think the green variant in this one looks better than, like, say, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks more, I don't know, kind of cartoony.
But in that Nightmare one, go back, do you prefer the flesh tone or green variant?
Oh, this is the night of the Nightmare line? Like with the Batman that they did?
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
Well, I was gonna say it lines up with the Penguin. That's not a night. That's.
I think it lines up with the Penguin. Yeah.
Okay. It is nice. I do like this
saw
one
that.
better.
Yeah.
I just Danny Lee feels about She-Hulk.
Anyway, then you got this one.
Yeah, that was
still like that one
a couple years ago.
I'm not a fan of this.
I am not a fan of this one either.
No, I liked it. I own it. It's in my collection.
I can't.
It's like China from the WWE painted green. She's too masculine. Even the face, in my opinion, is masculine.
Yeah, I agree with Shane on that one. But I love this one. I think in the green with this, I think it makes it look a little bit more dark, like you know what I mean?
And that's why I think it fits in exactly.
Yep.
I love this.
I love the fact that the plant has teeth, has teeth in it, so you know it's
out
alive.
of the video game. Didn't the video game have teeth?
Adam, zoom in. Go back and zoom in on her outfit.
I got to figure out how to specifically zoom in on stuff on this damn computer. But like I can zoom, but I can only go straight zoom.
If you go back to another picture where you see her outfit a little closer up, you could see all the texturing on there. That's all textured in between the leaves and everything.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks great.
But I like that flesh tone. I just like when it pops more like that.
It does pop. I just find the green, like you said, suits the motif of like really dark and nightmarish.
And I like the fact that the plant is like making her rise up. Like she's almost flying, but she's not. It's just, she's controlling the plant to.
Yeah, the engineering, the illusion of float.
Right. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, even her dirty on the bottom. Crippler loves that. We've talked about it. He's got issues. It's all right.
All right, we're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon, but we got this Frankenstein too.
Yeah, that looks nice.
This one came out great.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's too bad they made it 1/5.
Oh, it's 1/5?
Yeah, it's only 19 inches tall with the base.
Oh, God.
Yeah, 1/5.
I never understood those weird, I guess it's not weird to some people, but like those weird, not those mainstream scales, like the quarter scale is you can't miss with that,
Unless they're going to start a 1/5 scale monster line, and this is the first piece, then so be it. But it would have been nice to, this piece is amazing. I would have considered buying this piece in 1/4 scale.
Universal Mythos line.
Yep, right. Exactly.
That's exactly what this is.
Such a mess. That's too bad.
If it's not just a one-off and they just happen to make it 1/5 for some reason.
Look at the details in the staple holding them together.
And it's done by the Kucharik brothers.
Yeah, it shows. Those guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do.
I've loved those guys since the Bowen days.
Oh, his wife. He's got his wife on there. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Shane. I'll let you take it away on this part of this Masters of the Universe line.
Yeah, so I paid in full. No, I bought the Beastman from Tweeterhead. I got the exclusive with the club in his left hand. At first, I thought when they showed the club, it was going to be a swap out for the club or the whip. And I'm like, wow, I'm getting the whip for sure. But then I saw that the club's actually in his left hand, so you have the club and the whip, and I'm like, well, now I need the club for sure. So I ordered directly from Tweeterhead because it was a Tweeterhead exclusive. And then 2 weeks later, the sons of bitches make it available at Sideshow. So then I could have bought this at my store in Vancouver, Canada, that I basically get free shipping and don't pay duty or customs. So I could have saved like $150 or so if I would have bought it. For,
I see.
Again, dirty pool.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Which portrait you like better, Shane?
I'm going to have to see him in person. I like both, but I'm leaning towards the open mouth.
Yeah.
I know like a few people talked about like his shoulder pads. They should do it a bit of a different color because it kind of blends in too much. And if I get it, I might actually get the shoulder pads repainted to that like bone color that you see coming out of his collar there.
Yeah, I think that looks better.
Yeah, I think I might get it repainted.
Yeah, that skull, right? It doesn't make sense. That skull that's on his left shoulder should be the same color as the bone.
It should be bone, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Oh. All right, and then I'm sorry. What do we got? We got anything in the chat there?
Yeah, real quick question for you, Shane, from Slifer. What do you think the variant will be like?
Which variant? Oh, for Beastman.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I've been thinking about that, right? Because Tweeterhead likes their variants. They normally show the variant. I think it's near around the shipping time of when a piece is already set to go. Then they show the variant, which again, not a big fan of that. They should be forthcoming and going, yeah, we're going to make Merman. We'll have a blue variant in the future coming. So then people would know, okay, I'll wait for the blue one. But I'm not really sure with Beastman what you do for a variant. I mean, do they make the shoulder pads bone color? Because if so, then that's going to piss me off even more because I would have waited for that one. I'm not really sure what you do with Beastman. Yeah. Just like Skeletor, what are they going to do for a variant? Are they going to give him a white face instead of a yellow? I don't know.
Anything else? Well, I know this is stuff. These are some pictures that you were sharing, Shane.
Yeah, so I bought and paid for all of these. I'm just waiting for them to ship. Well, not that Hordak. That's the wrong Hordak. That's the PowerCon version. Yeah, that one right there. So that's getting shipped out tomorrow. The Hordak. I already have the Merman, and I'm just waiting for the other three to ship.
With this, guys, we were trying to figure out which Hordak would look best in the line.
And me personally, go back at him. I like that PowerCon Hordak because it really pops and it's much closer to the cartoon. But it doesn't fit in with the rest of the line because they're more of a darker drab line, basically like XM does their paint on most pieces. So I went with the other one instead, but I could have got either. The guy I bought it from actually has both.
Variants should drop at the same time. Yeah, I agree.
100%.
We've been saying that for forever with everything, really. When
I think it's shitty that they don't.
Yeah, so you guys know in the chat, Shane was talking about which one would go best. I like the one that you ordered, Shane.
Yeah, like I said, if it was a standalone piece, I would have went with this one. I like this one better. It's closer to the cartoon, but still a little modernized feel to it. But to go with the line, the other one just blends in better with the paint and that being a little toned down and more muted.
Another thing is I think out of the ones that I like out of this line, I don't collect this line, but I think Trapjaw and Skeletor are my favorites.
Oh, that Trapjaw is amazing. I cannot wait to get that. And Skeletor has been my guy for years. He's been one of my top guys since I was 4 years old. I used to play with He-Man toys.
All right, we're going to cover this real quick. Shane's favorite studio, J&D. So I will tell you this. I think this looks like Sean Connery for sure, man.
Yeah, they did a great job with that one.
Great.
I agree. That looks like Sean Connery.
That looks like Sean Connery.
You can't get any closer than that, I don't think.
This is J&D's best likeness right here.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a phenomenal job.
100%. This looks fantastic.
They nailed that one.
He even does that little eyebrow thing and everything.
Yeah.
That is him.
Oh, they nailed it.
Now,
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy on this because some people think this looks exact, and some people like me think there's something off about it. I think it's the eyes.
There is something off about it. It's close though, but it's.
But my question to you is, if you saw this statue and he was wearing a three-piece suit, would you know it's supposed to be Harrison Ford?
It would take me
a minute. It's not off that bad.
And this guy's just wearing a three-piece suit, and would you really know it's Harrison Ford?
It would take me. It would take me a good 30 seconds to figure out that it's Harrison Ford.
I wouldn't get it immediately. What I would say is he kind of looks like Harrison Ford. That's what I would say.
Right. I mean, there's something off a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not bad. Like, it's not bad.
Camera angle, lighting, and shadows, and all that comes into play with this. You know what I mean?
And they didn't do themselves any favors by posing this with that Sean Connery. That's amazing. So,
what were you saying? Go ahead, Dan. What were you saying?
Yeah,
I was saying, like, I mean, he's got the hat on. Shadows might be affecting, certain shapes and stuff like that, and make things look slightly different. But I mean, when you first initially look at it, you can say, yeah, something is off. It's something in the eyes with the expression that they've done.
Yeah,
that whole brow area. So I don't know what reference they were looking at when they did it, but whenever you do an expression and try to give expression to a face, it's tricky. If you move something slightly wrong, the eyes aren't shaped. If the eyes aren't shaped exactly how it should be, if the eyebrows itself, like if those aren't on the head or on the brow right where they should be in the expression, that can tend to throw things off.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't look so great.
It doesn't. Yeah, there is something going on here that
anybody that takes. I will give credit to any company that tries to take likeness, like real life, like movie likeness. I would imagine that is extremely difficult to do. So I commend anybody that tries to do it, because But when you come out, and I don't want to beat this dead horse because we always do, but like for the amount of money that these things are, people want to see a damn near 100% likeness. Like this right here. This is great.
Yep, they nailed it.
This is great.
Sure. Absolutely.
But what would you say the percentage is on this, Dan, in your opinion? Percentage-wise, 80%?
As far as likeness?
Yeah.
No, I'd say maybe 90.
90?
90, okay. 95. I mean, it could just be a few. I mean, when you're doing a likeness, like there's all kinds of variables that come into play as far as like, how far apart are the eyes? How far are they sunk into the skull? The brow. I mean, when you're doing a likeness, you got to do it from all different angles. The profile. Make sure that the silhouette matches up to the profile of the person that you're trying to replicate. How the distance between the top of the lip, the bottom of the nose, from the ears to the tip of the nose, from the back of the, to the eye. I mean, there's so many points that you have to take into consideration. But then, the eyes are, that's a crucial part of a likeness.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a program that can scan, like for statue makers, that could scan a face and then transfer that digitally onto a computer, like a grid, and then you sculpt around it. I wonder.
Well, I'm sure there. Yeah, I mean, you can digitally scan someone's face, and then use that to bring into the program, and then clean up and add textures to and all that. But I mean, is that what they did here? Probably not. They probably just used I mean, there's many ways you can do it. It's just
What's the chat saying, K-Fet?
Well, I think my buddy Edwin Diaz feels like Harrison Ford is looking a little bit like me in this statue. So I have to be careful of that. They're watching me. So
yeah, they got to pay you a royalty, man. Let it happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna join the strike here pretty soon and make sure that I get my cut too.
FigureCon says, okay, so if you change the outfit and dress him as Han Solo, would he look more like Harrison Ford or less? I mean, if you put him in the Han Solo suit or outfit, you're going to have the same, in my opinion, you're going to have the same thing here. It's just, I always think of it, if you had him not like that Sean Connery, if you put that Sean Connery in a bathrobe or a tutu, I'm going to look at that and go, that's Sean Connery in a bathrobe because it looks like Sean Connery. This, I give it 80% for Harrison Ford. It's close.
I think it looks good. I think it looks good.
85%.
Certain angles, I'm just like.
Yeah, the camera angle is, you can tell it's shot from down below up. Mm-hmm. A person's always going to look different from that angle. So, yeah. I mean, you can tell there is something off, but I mean, that might have something to do with it also. I'd like to see what it looks like, straight on from, a straight on shot rather than from up underneath. See that one there? I mean, you look at that and you kind of look at the brow. I mean, that kind of looks, that looks more like him. He does.
It looks like him.
It looks more like him.
If I was an Indiana Jones fan, I would definitely get both. Like Sean Connery is just like a knock out of the park to me. I think they killed it on that one. I don't think this looks terrible. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks pretty good. It's just not 100% there.
No.
But, and that was probably his last movie too. So if I was a diehard Indiana Jones fan, which I loved Indiana Jones as a kid, I would pick this up.
I'd like to see the reference images that they were using to do the likeness.
That's a good point. Yeah. Because they could be nailing that.
They
could be nailing that.
Exactly it. I mean, what were they using to match? Like if you go back to that image where it shows it from a distance and it's straight on shot, what does that look like up close? So,
which one were you talking about?
Well, there was a photo where you had where it took a shot of him straight on, but he was from far away. What does that look like close up?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean,
you get these close-up photos like this, but a straight-on shot, not from an angle from underneath. Bring the camera angle up to where it's looking straight on to his face.
Yeah.
What does it look like there?
Yeah, because you're not going to be like bending down to look at your statues.
Right. Unless you put them up. If you're having them up and you're looking up at them, then yeah. But typically, people want to look at pieces straight on. Some pieces work well up high. Some pieces work good down low.
That's true.
Some pieces look better when you get them straight on, But.
Here, we're actually getting a different view of Kevin. He was just changing his angle so we could see him at a different angle. Or are you sure?
Those all work well up high.
Kevin looks different there. His likeness there is about 60%. Yeah.
That's the fake Kevin.
That's the fake Kevin.
And like I said, different angles, the lighting, that all, they may take different photos, in different lighting, in different angles, and then show it, and they'd be like, oh, wow, that looks more like them. They must have done something when they probably didn't do anything.
Kevin, you're such an ass.
Dan, do you own any Jane D pieces?
No, I don't.
It's not your style?
It's not that it's not my style. It's just, I'm, $3,000 for a 1/3 scale piece is, out of my price range.
Do you think they're overpriced?
Silicone tends to, not last as long.
Do you think they're overpriced in your opinion?
Look, a lot of people say, they're gouging the collectors and the prices, they're overpriced. We don't know. Look, to do silicone is more expensive. Silicone is very expensive. Okay. They use silicone to make molds. I mean, I molded and casted for, about, I don't know, from 2012 to about 2014 or 15, 16, right in there. So I learned the whole process of that, and silicone is very expensive compared to resin.
Yeah.
So then you have, the silicone that they do, and then they got the hair punched, they punch in the hair. That is time consuming and tedious work. It's not It's not they're not slapping on, whole sheets of hair.
Yeah, I see that.
They're punching individual little tiny pieces of hair. I mean, that's really what that means. They're punching in little individual strands of hair into
takes a long time.
The silicone. Yeah, and that takes a long time. Now, if you look at my Yoda, right, that has fake hair. That's not hand punched. That is glued on. There's ways of doing it, but with silicone, to give it that realistic, lifelike look, they have to punch in
like it's coming out of the roots, like it's coming out of your hair.
It is. They punch it in, and it's coming right out of the silicone. And then, painting silicone is a completely different process than painting resin. And then you've got the acrylic eyes. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to that go into that increases the cost. The tail, like clothing, although that's tailored clothing, that's not cheap. That's expensive.
Really?
Yes. Everyone thinks, slapping on clothes would be.
This is why it's good to have you, though, Dan, because we don't know. We don't know. You know what I mean? We have no idea. So that's why I'm asking, right when I asked you, do you think it's overpriced? You went immediately into breaking it down and analyzing it so you can let us know. So that makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Because I've never seen a J&D statue in person. Right. But we discuss, sometimes we're like, man, look at what you're getting, like as far as like how big it is and how much space it takes.
That comes into play. There's so many variables that comes into play. The licensing comes into play. Okay. When they get these licenses, right, they have to get a license for the studio. Now, depending if the studio for that film owns the rights to the likeness of the actors that portrayed in that film. If they do, then like with Lucas, when he owned Star Wars, he owned the rights to the likeness of the characters, because this whole merchandising thing, like Lucas laid that all out and basically came up with all that. But if they have to get a license for the studio, for the movie, they have to get a license for the likeness, because you're, as an actor, you own the rights to your likeness. So they may have to have gotten a license to use their likeness. That doesn't always happen sometimes. Yeah. So let's take Adam West, for instance. For the longest time, he wouldn't give the rights up for his likeness to be used for a collectible. And then as he got older, he allowed that to happen. People had to buy likenesses, the companies, to produce his pieces for his likeness, for the Batman.
And those royalties going to be different amounts depending on the person.
Exactly. And then, again, the size, and when you're doing a likeness, the cost to doing a likeness is more money than not, because there's so much more that you have to do, that you have to match to get the likeness to be spot on. Those just for a portrait alone, for some artists, would cost you just as much for that one likeness as it would cost you to sculpt a full scale statue, because it's a likeness.
That being said, do you think that is pretty close to what they should be charging?
I mean,
in your opinion, I'm not saying like,
I'm answering the question. It's not a matter of is that what they should be charging? I mean, they have to charge what they feel is right for them. Okay, they're a business, right? They're a company.
Right. No. I get that. I get that part. What I'm just trying to say, like, after you explaining that whole thing, which makes total sense, by the way, do you think charging $3,000 for a statue like that is about right? I'm not saying that it's wrong or right. I'm just curious about what your final thought process would be on that, knowing as much as you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say is it right or wrong. I mean, they have, it all depends on how much money they have into it, right?
Okay.
They have to make money. So if they're charging $3,000 for these, that tells me they've got a lot of costs that went into making these, which it does. I mean, look at the tailoring on that clothing. I mean, I haven't owned a J&D piece. I don't know what their final product looks like compared to what
that's fair.
Their prototype is.
Right.
You'd have to ask somebody who owns a J&D piece to compare it to what they, the prototype that they're showing. Is it does it match it exactly, you know, or is it really, really close compared to where, okay, you know what, it doesn't really look like that, you know, it's close, but it could be better, you know, are they using the same materials, you know, things of that nature. So
let's see.
You know, they're high end. They're 1/3 scale. I mean, a resin 1/3 scale statue is what, anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500, right?
Yeah, sure.
So if these are $3,000 and they're silicone and it's fully tailored, yeah. I mean,
Crippler saying the hard work all is great and appreciated, but all that truly matters is the consumer is the end result. For likeness license, we see other studios with the same character nail it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else we got in there, Shane? We got other people. Likeness royalties are arguable when we have 3 1/3 scale Batmans ranging from 1,000 to 2,500. And then John Connor says, it seems to me like J&D is charging about $1,100 for the head sculpt alone. You know, I guess this is why we have the decisions to buy it or not buy it. I get it. We just try to make sense of, you know, this is why we have the shows. We like to talk statues and find out what goes into it. So maybe we're not as harsh to some companies as we are sometimes because we know the amount of work that goes into it. Now, I think having someone like Dan on the show, it does open my eyes a little bit more to the amount
gives you
of work.
insight that you didn't think
I'd
of.
like to touch base on that last statement that he made about, the likeness.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my experience, okay, I mean, I deal with many artists, you know, pros, amateurs alike. A pro artist, you know, and I'm not going to name names or who not, but they wanted $5,000 just to sculpt the likeness.
Jesus.
So you take that cost on a likeness, okay, and they're really good with likenesses, like spot on. You know, you're talking some don't even give you a straight up price. They want, you know, $400 a day to sculpt a likeness because it's a time consuming thing to get it. You know, if you want it spot on to be an exact replica of this person, you're gonna pay through the kazoo for it because it's, you know, it's expensive. So if let's just say you take that $5,000 for the sculpt, just for the portrait, okay, then you factor in all the costs to manufacture the tailoring for the clothing. You have to hire a tailor to produce those clothings for your sample to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you have, like I said, the silicone and the punched hair. So all those costs that come into, yeah, they probably did pay 11, you know, whatever he said, $1,100
for just a head sculpt, yeah,
or $1,100 more for the head sculpt.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's probably, you know, when you break it down to the numbers of how many they're going to produce, that might be what they have into that head sculpt. So
Sexy Lamb saying you're paying for craftsmanship and quality. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
It go either way. I get it.
What Crippler was saying, I think, is other companies do movie likenesses. They do it better than J&D, and their pieces are a lot cheaper than J&D. I think that's what he's saying. That's his argument.
Are they silicone though?
I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Dan is saying is
silicone.
the amount, all these different factors go into one thing. We can't look at one factor.
You can't compare a head sculpt with silicone compared to one that's made out of resin. Resin is going to be way cheaper, than silicone, because, like I said, silicone is super expensive.
And I get what Crip is saying. A lot of times, in my opinion, it's your job as a company. I'm not saying Dan or anybody else. I'm saying, like, it's a studio's job sometimes, in my opinion, as a company, you got to make me understand as a consumer. That's your job, to make me understand the quality that's going into it. And then if I don't understand it, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. I get it. You know what I mean? So I think it could go either way. I think Dan brought a lot of good stuff to the show today. I appreciate you coming on the show today, Dan.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
You're always welcome to the show, by the way. If you're ever working on some new projects and you want to come on the show, come on over and
just let me know. Let me know when.
Yeah. We'll definitely send you another invite. Do you guys got anything else, Shane? Anything for the crew?
No, I think that's it. I'll be on Constructive Outrage on Wednesday, and
What time?
think we're gonna have Slifer on.
Yeah, Slifer's
nice.
another good guy in the community.
We're going to address who the real anime king is in the hobby,
Stream him and Buck.
and who the cock puts their support behind. Yeah.
Dan doesn't even know what we're talking about. He's like,
I know what anime is.
No,
I know what anime is. Don't talk down to Dan, Adam. You don't
talking
even know
about,
what
he's talking about the cock shirts, but
The
Yeah,
cock
yeah.
joke. Gotcha.
but anyway, Shane, what time is that show again? You want to plug that real quick? What time is the show?
Yeah, it's 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. Constructive Outrage.
Yeah, guys, don't miss that show. Crippler is like, we got all the more serious shows. Crippler definitely has serious moments in his show, but it's a lot more laid back and fun, and they're just cutting up and having a good time.
Yeah, Crippler doesn't run the show like a dictator. I'm not saying Adam does, but read what you want into that.
All right. K-Fet, what's going on?
I think Shane summed it all up. I'm good. I'll catch up with everyone next week.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We had a good time with Dan, and I appreciate you guys, tuning in today. I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm going to be back to it. I'm still wrapping up some stuff. As you can see, I'm working on some stuff. I'm going to try to get that video out when this show is done, because I got some people coming over. So I'm going to try to get that video out for you guys to show you the man cave, because that's what I promised you. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.
Thanks,
care,
guys. Yep.
Later.